Yeah. Roberta in the truth zone, mic hitting raw. Spotlight shining, she exposing the flaw. Debunking the myth, breaking their facade. This is Glass City, respect the squad. On these NYC blocks where the skyline flex big. Roberta Glass slicing lies with a truth rig. Innocence frosters, your stories unravel. She's a map through the madness of gritty gravel. Glass don't bend and facts don't break. She's a storm that's called, you feel the quake. Exposing tales stitched with crooked seams. Justice in the lens, shattered fake dreams. Dreams about killers, painted heroes in disguise. She burning propaganda with fire in her eyes. No glamour for the guilty, she call it straight. She backs victims, the voice stay awake. Stats and receipts, no spin, no clutter. Cold cases whisper, she cuts through the mutter. Truth's her tempo, don't confuse the beat. She standing for the real while you taking a seat. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to play. She's glass hard, break the false and save the day. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to...
Okay, good morning. True crime's my block, facts my artillery. People are hating on that song. Maybe I'll just start. I'll do a couple. What is my cat doing? Oh no, throwing up. Hold. Oh, and threw up right on my book. Nicely done. Okay. How is everybody else's morning going? Hold on one second. Let me pull this up so you guys can look at it while I go clean up some cat vomit. It happens. I don't know. Sometimes your cat throws up. They get sick. Something upsets their tummy and they throw up. Yours is good. Oh, I have something. Wait, hold on. Let me clean up this vomit first. I have something to show you. Marie Horton sent in the funniest picture of Judge Masrick serving me chicken soup with my fractured ankle and my boot. I'm looking so glamorous in this picture and so young. Who could not like that? Hold on one second. So what happened yesterday? Sorry, my real life is getting like very hectic. I'm trying to hold down. I'm one person. I'm trying to hold down the fort here. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Lately, it seems to be not working more than not. But if you missed this yesterday, okay, I'll be with you in a minute. I know you're not feeling well, honey. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah, let me pull this up and deal with my cat. So Jennifer, I believe it was Jennifer Ray yesterday, made the bold prediction that Kouri Richins would testify. I love when people make bold predictions or have strong feelings about anything and stick by it. Kouri Richins took the coward's way out and will not testify. We certainly did hear her testify quite a bit during this trial. We saw video, we read her writing, we read her texts, we heard phone calls with Kouri Richins. So in a way, she testified, but not in a way that's going to help her. I don't think. I don't know. So today, what we can expect is, I would think everyone has rested. So the defense is rested. They're not putting on a case, as I suspected. I didn't think they would. It just looked like that's what we were headed to, closing arguments, with all these arguments, last minute arguments over what was coming in. And it just seemed like we were at the end of the case. So here is Kouri Richins saying she's not going to testify. Take a look. And I'm going to go clean up this kitty puke. Okay. Morning. Get your cup of coffee. Here's Kouri Richins saying she won't testify.
You asked for time to speak with your client to make some strategic decisions. Is between now and 1 p.m. sufficient time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Bloodworth, anything further before we recess until 1 o'clock?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Nestor?
No, sir.
All right. We'll be in recess until 1 p.m. Just confirming that to the extent the defendant will be putting on evidence or calling witnesses, you have a couple in the wings. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 1 p.m. Thank you for your time. Court's in recess. Make sure you've consulted with your client about this.
Absolutely.
Is now an appropriate time to get a waiver of Ms. Richins' right to testify on the
Yes.
record?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Okay. You've consulted with Ms. Richins about her, or advised Ms. Richins about her right to testify, correct?
At length.
Okay. Ms. Richins, may I ask you 2 direct questions?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to testify at trial?
Yes, I do.
Are you following your attorney's advice and waiving your right to testify at trial?
Yes, I am.
I accept your waiver. I find it's knowing and voluntary.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anything further on the record, Ms. Lewis?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Bloodworth, how would you propose we proceed from here for the rest of today?
Sir, let me backtrack a little bit on your earlier question. I think I should then rest in front of the jury.
Understood.
The defense can then rest in front of the jury. I think then for the rest of today, and I propose tomorrow, the court recess, and that we begin, the parties can work on jury instructions perhaps today or tomorrow, but then we instruct and close on Monday.
My face is not telegraphing any opinion one way or the other. I'm just waiting for a response.
I don't think we have a problem with that. I thought we were thinking it might make sense to get the jury instruction conference out of the way and then.
I agree with you. May we do it tomorrow? Give the counsel, both sides, a chance to talk to each other about any additional instructions you think might be necessary, narrow any differences or discuss any differences you have regarding any of those, and we can have that conference tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes, that's fine.
Okay. So we'll talk about scheduling about that. Just want to make sure we're all comfortable with the jury being out in the wild between now and Monday morning. Yes?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. Are we ready for the jury? Mr. Bloodworth?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Bloodworth?
Your Honor, the state rests its case.
Very good. Ms. Lewis?
Your Honor, after consulting with our client, the defense rests.
Understood. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, there is some legal work that I need to do with counsel in this case to get from here to the next stage. Rather than use your time inefficiently with you in the courtroom, we're going to do the following. We're going to recess for today. You will be on your own in the wild between now and 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning. I cannot emphasize this enough. Between now and 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning, please do not say anything about this case to anyone. I would understand if you had to tell somebody that you have to be back here at 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning. Other than that circumstance, please do not discuss this case with anyone. Do not allow anyone to attempt to talk to you about it. It will take affirmative effort and diligence. I need you to use that same affirmative effort and diligence to make sure you avoid watching, listening, or reading anything about this case from any source whatsoever. And please do not do any search research, query anything of any kind between now and 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning.
Is that sarcastic, Wesley? Are you being sarcastic? Did I turn everybody off to coffee? I need coffee while Roberta cleans up Tiger Bar. I was like, I'm gonna go clean up some cat puke. Doesn't that appetize everybody for a cup of coffee? I don't know. State did not prove murder. Okay, here, please. This is the place for civil discussion. Please explain. They proved thief and cheater, but not murder. Okay. What evidence would you expect to see in a poisoning case like this that you didn't see? I mean, I have some answers, but I have some ways I'd answer that question, but I don't know if that would give me enough reasonable doubt. Remember, it's not beyond any doubt. The doubt has to be reasonable that Kouri Richins didn't poison her husband. I think to my eye, please explain in the comments section, and we'll have a little discussion here. To my eye, she seems extremely guilty. Everybody's rested. So, yeah. This is Kouri Richins in her 70s, very 70s inspired yellow shirt. Made her look very jaundiced, I thought, that color yellow. I don't know. I didn't think it was a good look, but who knows? When you're on trial for murder, I think you're just trying to look like you're not culpable, like you're not capable. So that is what happened there. Kouri Richins said, "Yet she will not testify." What else happened? Let's look at Detective O'Driscoll's testimony. I thought he was great. Let me see if I can pull it up. If not, I'll just go through yesterday's. Here it is. Wow. This one channel is doing such a good job cutting up this trial. Excellent job. Okay, here we go. Although I think they usually have a lot of the defense stuff and not so much of the prosecution stuff, but maybe that's what people want to see. Here's Detective Jeff O'Driscoll's direct examination. Let's look. He's the second lead detective to come into this case. The first we saw, she's now a dog handler. I think everybody can agree that might have been a good career choice for her. She lit up when she talked about her job. She said she couldn't wait to get a dog. She came into the scene thinking it might be a murder, but didn't really secure the scene the way you have to when it's a murder scene. She didn't get hold of the glasses. She missed she let the hydrocodone bottle. The defense has mined for all it's worth. So I'm talking about Eric Richins' hydrocodone bottle that he got for knee surgery, that he never finished the bottle. I mean, that is not someone with a drug habit. If you have we're talking about an opiate addiction here, which creates a physical dependence. So you would reach for that hydrocodone bottle if you felt you were going through withdrawal or worried you were about to go through withdrawal, and he hadn't touched it in years and years and years, never finished the bottle. never mind. He didn't have any THC in his system. So the defense has really failed to make him even look like a pothead, which they've tried ad nauseum to do throughout this trial. Let's make this guy look like that if he's bold enough in a state with that doesn't have legal marijuana purchasing, that if he's going to buy pot gummies illicitly, this is the defense's theory. This is the best thing the defense had, that if he was willing to buy pot gummies illicitly, and who knows, they may have been Kouri Richins at this point. She may have bought them all, and he may have partaked every once in a while. But it had to be every once in a while because THC is different than other drugs in that it goes into the fat cells. So it takes a long time. So it takes a long time to filter out of your body. So it's not like a 2-3 day wait. It could be like a month wait from the last time you used to not come up in your system. So we can, I think, safely say he hadn't used for about at least 4 weeks. Pot gummies for sleep, which I think is a little bit different than saying I want to get stoned and stay awake and, I don't know, watch The Simpsons or something. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, he's using it just to have a good night's sleep with 3 young boys, right? And a stressful, heavy work day at his masonry company.
What is your name?
Detective Jeff O'Driscoll, O''DRISCOLL.
And what, sir, do you do for a living?
I'm a narcotics and major crimes detective for the Summit County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been with the sheriff's office?
10 years.
What did you do before becoming a detective?
I worked in the patrol division with the sheriff's office. I had a number of primary duties as well as lateral duties. I was mainly responsible for responding to calls for service. I also was a canine handler. I was a UAS pilot or drone pilot. I was a member of the SWAT team as well as a SWAT sniper, and various other administrative duties.
When did you become a detective?
July of 2022.
And sir, what types of cases have you handled as a detective?
All types of cases, as far as property crimes, frauds, thefts, mail thefts, home burglaries, vehicle burglaries, and then persons crimes.
So court is not live, but I am. So what I like to do is I like to come on here a little early and sum up the previous testimony. And the last person we heard from, I believe, was Jeff O'Driscoll. Wasn't he the last witness in this case? Am I missing out? Am I forgetting someone? So this, I thought we'd go through his, since we have 45 minutes till court starts, I thought we'd go over his testimony. I thought it was interesting. That's what we do here. We drink some coffee between 9:30 and 10:30 Eastern time. And we talk about what happened the previous day. So we just looked at Kouri Richins saying the defense resting, and Kouri Richins saying before the defense rested, Kouri Richins said she will not testify. So the state has rested, meaning no more witnesses for the state of Utah. Defense is not putting on a case at all. They're saying the state's case is so weak, we're not even going to defend it. We did all our defending in cross-examination, and they're throwing it to the jury. I mean, I had the feeling that this would happen just because, just by the amount of, I mean, you always get a lot of objections from the defense, a good defense team. But just the way that they were doing those objections near the end there, I really thought that they've given up. And they're hoping for appellate issues. And I think frankly, I think it wasn't a good idea for the judge. And I know I've said this a 1,000 times. It's very rare that I disagree with the judge in a case. Actually, maybe not as rare as I think. Certainly disagreed with Judge Cannoni a whole hell of a lot. I think the judge was wrong to not let them question Kouri Wright. If Kouri Wright made a preliminary statement that he knew Eric Richins used or took pain pills in high school, they should have been able to question him on that. Sure, high school is a long time away, but it's all they had, really, for a defense. And the judge said, no, you can't question because the drugs here, in this case, were illicit drugs, meaning illicitly produced fentanyl. So there are two kinds of fentanyl. There is the pharmaceutical grade fentanyl that you'd get, say, if you had extreme pain from something like cancer, in a patch, in a lollipop. Another way. Or there's this illicitly produced fentanyl, like the kind of Breaking Bad fentanyl lab produced by criminals. I guess that makes you a criminal if you're producing fentanyl illicitly. And that's what was made in this case. It's kind of complicated. And the defense has really used this distinction a lot. So this illicit fentanyl was pressed into a pill made to look like 30 milligram oxycodone pills, which are hugely popular and very expensive on the black market. And we saw the drug dealer in this case get on the stand and say, I never sold fentanyl. I never sold fentanyl. I sold only prescription grade oxycodone. I sold the real thing. I wasn't selling fake roxycodone pills. That's the brand name for it, roxycodone. I wasn't selling fake roxycodone, i.e. M30s, blues. I've learned so much about this stuff since from this trial. I was selling, I was selling the real thing. I wasn't selling fake M30s, fake roxycodone that was really fentanyl. But my feeling from listening to his testimony, I can't prove it. The only way I can prove it is the contents of Eric Richins' stomach. Is that he was selling fentanyl. He's like, people were really worried about fentanyl. This is this drug dealer apparently started drug dealing during middle age. Like he said, he started drug dealing 2 years before he got caught. I mean, come on. Really? Tell me another one. I just found that hard to believe. And I don't know if he's still dealing. I don't know what his motivation. I don't know if it was his belief, his pride that he's selling now, and he doesn't want his customers to think that they're getting illicit fentanyl, which they probably are if he is selling the stuff. Or if he just wanted to give the middle finger to the prosecution and he's clean. All those things could be true or untrue. You have to use your discernment looking at his testimony, but that's the best thing that the defense had. So because the pills, which were bought thinking that they were Kouri Richins, I don't think you can use her statement, I'm looking for the Michael Jackson stuff. To me, that just means strong medication. Kouri Richins obviously didn't watch the Conrad Murray trial, Michael Jackson's doctor's trial, like I did. But Michael Jackson died of propofol poisoning overdose. Very rare way to die. If you've had a colonoscopy, you've probably had propofol. If you had any kind of operation where you need to go under very quickly and come out very quickly, propofol is the drug they'll give you. But I don't think anyone thinks that Kouri Richins was looking for propofol. I mean, how do you even administer that with if you're not a doctor? I mean, I don't think it's a. Can you slip it into someone's drink? I have no idea. I wouldn't think so, or food or something. She was obviously, Michael Jackson was also an opiate addict at parts of his life. But she was looking for some strong opiates. Fentanyl is a strong opiate, so is oxycodone. It's hard to know what she was looking for. But clearly, those buying those pills thought they were buying roxycodone. They didn't think they were buying fentanyl. And the price attached to it seemed to suggest that they were selling fentanyl pills at roxycodone prices.
Where from simple assault to sexual assault, shootings. I was also on part of an on-call rotation for any in progress or major incidents in the county, as well as all deaths in the county.
Are you currently the lead detective on this case?
Yes, I am.
When were you assigned as lead detective?
In March of 2023.
And did you take over from Detective Woody?
Yes, that's correct.
Was this your first death investigation as a detective?
No, as I said, I was on.
Okay, so we have someone close to this case. I worked for the defendant's aunt. So Kouri Richins' aunt. So her Lisa Darden's sister. Is that what we're talking about here? Candy wrapper? Or are you talking about Eric Richins' aunt? Not one time did I ever hear that woman ever complain about her nephew being strung out on drugs before he passed away. So it's got to be Eric Richins' aunt. I would hope you would work for the Richins side. Right. The defendants. Oh, the defendants. Well, the defendant's aunt is Kouri's aunt, right? Maybe Candy Wrapper I'll put it this way. It's pretty sus when two men in the same family die within 2 weeks of each other. Candy Wrappers in Utah. Two men who died in the same way 2 weeks from each other. Kouri's aunt. So that would be, she didn't say my niece's husband has a drug problem. That's what she would have said. Yeah, it's a little awkward, right, Candy Wrapper? It's a little awkward to say the relationship. Doreen's husband passed away 2 weeks after Eric. I didn't know that. And so is this, hey, Candy Wrapper, is this Lisa Darden's sister, Doreen? And Lisa Darden's lesbian lover died of an overdose in 2006. You know that, right? So I think Lisa Darden is a very dark human being. She scares me. Yes, ma'am. Wow. What are people saying about this in Utah? I'd be curious. I think she's going to get convicted, but I don't know. I don't know which way a jury's going to go. I mean, I may be wrong. I don't know what a jury's thinking and feeling. I just think there's more evidence. I think they could have gone to trial with half of this evidence against. Yeah, in 2006. Yeah. No, not 16-6, 2006. Mm-hmm. Doesn't Lisa Darden come off like an accomplice in this case? All right, I'm going to play a little of this, and my coffee's on the stove heating up. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. I'll be right back.
The on-call rotation for all deaths occurring in the county. And before that, I investigated several as just a first responder in patrol as well.
Was this your first death investigation that became a full-blown homicide investigation?
Yes, it was.
Upon being assigned as lead investigator in this case, how did you approach your investigation?
I had limited information when I first came onto the case. I didn't know all the facts and details about the case, but I knew some of the information, particularly the results from the autopsy, as well as the tox results from the medical examiner's office. So I knew that Eric had died of a fentanyl intoxication, and that there was fentanyl in both his blood and his gastric content. But as far as how I approached the investigation, I wanted to start fresh. I wanted to start as if it was the first day that it had occurred and the first time that I was seeing it. I tried to look at it with fresh eyes and try to get a fresh perspective. Having said that, and knowing what I knew from the autopsy results, it was apparent to me that there were three likely possibilities of how Eric died. The first being that he had an accidental overdose after taking a substance that may have contained fentanyl. The second being that he intentionally ingested orally a large amount of fentanyl to commit suicide. And third, that somebody else administered orally to him a large amount of fentanyl in order to kill him.
As part of your investigation, did investigators get Eric's Doppel history?
Yes.
Scott, can I get 1-27? And while that's coming up, what is a Doppel history?
DOPL stands for Department of Professional Licensing. But in our world, what it means is the state holds a database of all prescription controlled substances that are prescribed, issued, filled, the dates they were filled, who the patient was, the dosage, things like that. The state maintains that information. We can request that for any particular patient within the state.
Your Honor, are you able to publish that to the witness and counsel?
Yes, sir. You ready? Preview to the witness?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You should see it now.
Is this the Doppel history that investigators requested?
Yes.
Your Honor, can we publish?
Any objection, counsel?
No objection. He's moving to admit it.
So move to admit and publish.
No objection.
State's Exhibit 1-27 is admitted.
Scott, if you could embiggen that bottom portion, please. What's the headline here, Detective?
It's just the contents of who the results are being sent to, and then it says no records found for Eric Eugene Richins with his date of birth and the time frame that they searched.
So what does that mean for your investigation?
It means that Eric wasn't prescribed any prescription controlled substances during that time frame.
Did investigators search Eric's phone for evidence of THC gummy use?
Yes.
Did investigators discover 2 text messages between Kouri and Eric Richins regarding THC gummy use?
Yes, those messages were recovered from Eric's cell phone.
Scott, can I get 2-118D, please? Is this an accurate depiction of a November 20th, 2021 text exchange between Kouri and Eric Richins?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, move to admit and publish.
So Candy Wrapper, you met Lisa Darden twice. That's someone I wouldn't want to come face to face with. I'm sure she was nice enough in a social setting, but she scares me. Corruption in the entire family. And the only reason I stayed until the middle of May was because I felt that Doreen needed the help. The people she was working for were strung the F out. I had to wait 2 hours every day. Oh, what a nightmare. Yeah, same thought, Tater. What a nightmare. Yeah.
Two 2-118D.
No objection.
2-118D is admitted and now published.
I believe the green is Eric's and the blue is Kouri Richins.
Steak sounds pretty good. The movie doesn't start till 8. So this is between My Princess from My Princess to Eric Richins. Oh, I just want to show you. I want to thank Marie Horton just quickly. I always talk about how much I love the judge in this case. His voice, his just general demeanor is very relaxing. And if you've been keeping up with me, fractured my ankle, her taking it, really biting it in an unartful way down the steps, bruised my entire foot and fractured my ankle. So Marie Horton did a picture of the Judge Masrick bringing me some chicken soup. Here's my fantasy. And I'm looking very glamorous and young in this depiction. There it is. Thank you, Marie, for that. I appreciate it. Okay, back to Driscoll's testimony. Are you guys interested in testimony? Is direct? Should we go to his cross? Would you be more interested in this cross? I don't know. Let me know.
Scott, 2-119D, please. The Detective, is this a accurate depiction of a January 13th, 2022 text exchange between Kouri and Eric Richins?
Yes, and again, I believe it's the green that is Eric speaking and the blue that is Kouri Richins speaking.
Your Honor, state moves to admit and publish.
No objection.
States 2-119D is admitted.
Oh, so I'm looking, and we have a charging conference, so they're going to charge the jury. They're going to do that before closing arguments at 3 p.m. I guess they're going to figure out what instructions they're going to give the jury at 3. Huh. So, because I was wondering if we had court today, because we've been taking Fridays off. And I see that there was like day 14 yesterday that Court TV put up, but I guess they took that down and they replaced it with like a charging conference. Oh, I don't know. I'd kind of like to review this testimony. I don't know if we'll stay on as long as we usually do, but we can come back for maybe the charging conference at 3, or we could just go all the way till 3. What is that? I don't know how long it'll take to review Driscoll's testimony.
Detective, are you familiar with a children's book entitled Are You With Me that Kouri Richins purportedly authored to help children deal with the loss of a parent?
Yes, I am.
How did you first come?
That's one of my favorite moments in the entire trial, just the question itself. Are you familiar with a children's book that Kouri Richins purportedly wrote? It's not true that she wrote it. Someone else ghost wrote it for her. They established that a little later on, but I just love that question. When I heard the way, I was like, oh, lawyers are such wordsmiths. What a great way to put it. Are you familiar with the ghost written book from Kouri Richins that she published under her name? I mean, it's such a personal, grief is such a personal thing that it's just odd to have someone ghost write a book, a children's book for you if your husband really died, totally unrelated to anything that you did. Just accidentally overdosed, or someone else poisoned him. Wouldn't you want to write that book yourself? And wouldn't you want to protect your children's identities and not use their real name?
Familiar with it.
Your Honor, we just want to renew our previous objections to this line of questioning.
Court stands on its prior ruling. Please
Sir, how did you first become familiar with it?
Another one of the investigators from the sheriff's office shared a link with me to a story by Good Things Utah, a local news channel. And I viewed an interview there between Ms. Richins and reporters.
Scott, can I get 8-21 Sierra, please?
Thanks, Tammy. Thanks, Tammy. Appreciate it.
Sir, do you recognize that as an authentic depiction of a screenshot from that interview?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves to admit and publish 8-21S.
Your Honor, we renew our 401 and 403 objections.
Overruled. 8-21, did I get the number right? 8-21S is admitted and published.
Did detectives investigate how Kouri Richins came to appear on Good Things Utah?
Yes. A subpoena was sent to ABC Utah news station to get that information, and part of their production, they produced some emails between Ms. Richins and the production team. It appeared that they had some kind of standardized form that anyone could fill out to requesting to be on the show, and it looked like Ms. Richins had filled that out and they were communicating about the results.
Scott, can I get 2-115? Detective, is that an accurate depiction of the March 24th, 2023 email exchange between Kouri Richins and Good Things Utah?
Yeah, I believe it began on March 24th. There's various dates on when emails were sent back and forth, but yes.
So basically, it was Kouri Richins who reached out. I'm going to move forward on this because it's just a lot of emails where Kouri Richins is filling out forms saying how they produced the segment. All about her book. What are we? I just really want to understand the book process, so I'm ready to go. I've already spoke for a writer for my book. I'm debating starting it now, and they can start on quite a few chapters before it's all over, just to get a jump start. Not sure. So Kouri Richins, even being, we heard, I don't know if she was this far in debt, but she's millions and millions of dollars in debt. I don't know if she was $7.5 million in debt. I would think so at this point after Eric Richins' murder. Maybe she felt that she had some money coming to her from the estate, from suing the estate or the trust. But Kouri, I mean, it's just so telling. It's not just so telling in the fact that Kouri Richins wrote a book about, or had someone else write a book about, supposedly about her grief and helping her children through the grief she said she felt. It's that people who usually ghostwrite a book or have a ghostwriter are in a couple different categories. One, they're usually like a politician or like a famous person who's famous for something else, like Scully, the Miracle on the Hudson pilot. So he's great at piloting a plane, but writing a book, he has no idea how to do it. So sometimes they'll have like a co-author. So the person will just talk about their life, and usually on audio tape, and the writer will form those audio tapes and use that and form it into some kind of readable story for the public. Or they're so they've achieved some kind of fame some other way. That's usually why you have a ghostwriter. But Kouri Richins is essentially saying, my husband's death made me famous. This is the notable thing. usually you'd write the book yourself, not being a notable person. You wouldn't send it off to a ghostwriter. Most people wouldn't. The funds that you make not being a notable person, right? On a book like this, but she thought she was going to sell 100,000 copies at $10 a book. So she thought she was going to rake in six figures from this children's book. That was her goal. That's what you found out in these text messages. It's just, to me, what I'm trying to say is it goes towards Kouri Richins. It's such a good example of Kouri Richins' fantastical, magical thinking and ego, that she thinks that it's money well spent to hire a writer and self-publish a book. It's like purely a vanity project. I mean, I think when I went on Court TV before this trial started to talk about this case, what they wanted to know was why Kouri Richins wrote this book. That was the first question. And my answer was that I thought it had much more to do with the investigation, that she knew they were investigating her. She could play the grieving widow. So about a year after, and around a year after Eric Richins was found dead, she was arrested. So right before she's arrested, she's publishing this book. I thought it had much more to do to play the widow and show that she's really grieving. And I think her mom took it like that because her mom sent the book to the lead investigator, lead detective, who we're seeing testify right here, Jeff O'Driscoll, with a note saying, here's the real Kouri Richins, a grieving and loving mother. Something like that, something to that effect. That was the note attached to the book, and signed it anonymously. They had to subpoena Amazon to find out who sent them that book, and it was Lisa Darden, Kouri Richins' mother. But when you look at the text messages, it seems to have less to do with evading law enforcement and making money. She really wanted to make money. So when I talked about it, I said she wanted to make money from the book. But the main thing was that she could play the grieving widow in the public. But now I really think that she was always looking for a way. She wants to, so much of this was she wanted to make money. Her main goal in life was to be a multimillionaire. When I talk about her origin story, where she said she was scrubbing toilets and dreaming of a day where she'd be rich like the people in Salt Lake City. And here she is living in that neighborhood, and she's made it. And she had to steal $200,000 from Eric Richins because that made her $11 million. These are just, no way did she ever, if she ever made $11 million, it went right out. And she's $7.5 million in debt. After you're $2 or $3, $4, $5 million in debt, does it even matter anymore? Is it all just dream money, play money at that point? How do you pay that back? Did someone get booted? Did someone just get booted out? You want the sound effect? Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Is that what just happened, Tater? Is that what just happened? She was like a millionaire, but in the wrong direction. Wesley's always so funny. Yeah, true, right? So if you just tuned in, we have a status conference at 3. I'm just going over. I guess this is a very poorly titled episode live episode. We're just going over the past testimony in the Kouri Richins trial. We have a charging conference, which means I find them kind of boring, honestly. Some people are fascinated, I know, by how they're going to direct the jury. It's a really important part of the process. It's just not a part of the process that I particularly love. It's very technical. What evidence the jury can consider and how they can consider it. That's going on at 3. So if you just want to hang out and watch some of the most exciting testimony that's happened in this case, come hang out, drink some coffee with us, and we're just going over it. Good luck, little sis. You have nothing to worry about. Stay calm. You can log in if you want to at 2.
Scott, 2-113, please.
Yeah, what happened, Tater? What happened? What happened? Tater's like, bye, gal. What happened? I have to go back and see. It's so rare that someone gets. This is such like a civil discussion area. You have to be really obnoxious to get booted out of this chat. So it has to get to like you have to really irritate one of the fantastic moderators on this channel to get this. I'd love to know what happened there. She questioned my opinion on a jacket. You mean her yellow, butter yellow shirt? I thought it was like deeper than butter yellow. It was more like, I don't know, it was bright yellow shirt. Is that what, or a jacket? I just think I've never seen someone so just like, I've never been so distracted by the clothing in a trial as I am in this trial. Kouri Richins has had like 1 or 2 shirts that she looks well in black. She looks well in that deep rusty red blouse she had on. But so many of the clothes they put her in, she looked like that ballerina shoes, very, very pale pink shirt with a big collar, that Mormon blouse, that Mormon wives blouse and stuff. And then her attorney, Kathy Nestor, wears lipstick, clothes way too dark for all the clothes are so dark for her, like very, very pale complexion. It just looks odd to me. It's distracting and odd. However, Jeff O'Driscoll here, I think he looks sharp. I love his black and white shirt, the red tie. Mask matches his jacket great. I think this is a much better outfit than he wore the second day he testified. Yesterday, we'll get to that. Beard trimmed. I think the first time we saw him, he had a much bigger beard, but maybe that was a different person.
Detective, is this a March 8th, 2023 text exchange between Kouri Richins and her mother?
Yes.
Is Kouri Richins in green and her mother in blue?
Yes.
Is this an authentic depiction?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, the state moves 2-113 into evidence and to publish.
Objection 4143 and hearsay. We don't need the instruction.
Defendant's objections are overruled. 2-113 is admitted.
What's the name of my daughter's book? Where are you? This is from mom to Kouri Richins. It's not on Amazon yet. Oh, no, my title is Are You With Me? It's such an awkward, forgettable title. You can tell that someone who wasn't experiencing grief thought that up. Are you with me? Are you there? Are you there, Eric? It's me, murderer. That's what it should have been called. It's me, your murderous wife. So it seems like Kouri Richins and her mother are just laughing about the title. Where is ya? Is they laughing about the title, or is her mom really trying to find out where she is? Working in the office, Kouri Richins writes back.
Scott 2-114.
And there is her mother, Lisa Darden, who I find terrifying.
Please. Sir, is this a March 22nd, 2023 text exchange between Kouri Richins and her brother DJ?
Yes, and just like before, Kouri Richins is the green bubbles and DJ is the blue bubbles.
Is this an accurate depiction?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves to admit 2-114 and publish.
4143 and hearsay. We don't need the instruction. Thank you, Your Honor.
Scott, would you zoom in?
Wait, so I don't understand. If you're saying it's hearsay, you're judging on hearsay, but then you don't want the instruction. You just don't want the evidence, period, if it's hearsay. So is that like two different objections? Like we object to the instruction and we object to this on grounds of hearsay. I don't know enough about Utah. Some Utah lawyer would have to explain that objection to me. But to me, it seems like two objections.
For a minute. Understood. I misread it. Okay. Zoom back out so I can see the number. My apologies. Defendant's objections to states 2-114 are overruled. 2-114 is admitted and published.
So, yay. And then Kouri Richins' brother is saying, yep, think Carter. Kouri sounds better. Oh, how much do you make for make per book? Her brother is asking. Whoop. What did I just press there? Da-da-da-da-da. Haha, it sounds way better. Oh my God, they would die. It would be so funny. Wait, what are they talking about here? Let's go back. I don't understand the yay. Okay, the next one. Yep, think Carter. Kouri sounds better. Carter Kouri. So her son's name is Carter. Her name is Kouri. Carter Kouri? How much do you make per book? This is interesting. It gets interesting here. So she's saying Carter Kouri sounds way better. Oh my God, they would die. It would be so funny. I guess if she went with that pen name, Carter Kouri. That's what they're talking about? If someone knows better, let me know. Yes, it would. So on Amazon, I only make $5.35 a book. They print and ship. I'm working on a website that you can buy the book through, and I'll make $10 a book. And then she says she's looking to sell 100,000 copies. Brother says nice. Then she says, yeah, the next 30 days. Oh, whoop. This is Kouri Richins. Usually she's in blue. This is weird. Yeah, the next 30 days are just extreme marketing. My goal is to sell 100,000 books by the end of the year.
Your Honor, may we approach on a legal issue?
While they approach on a legal issue, I just want to go back since let me just so I put this up. I'll never do this again. I put up my court TV appearance in 2 parts, and nobody's watched like the first part, and everybody seems to have watched the second part. But the first part, they ask about the book, why she wrote the book.
Paired by his wife.
So I just wanted to see kind of how it's not just me talking about it. The other gentleman on the panel talks about it too. And we put making money, I did mention it, but way down on the list when it seems to be like the main goal, like with a minor goal, like reverse these. So I said the major goal was to convince the public and the investigators that she was a grieving widow. The minor goal was the money, that feeling of power and control, that she made money off of her murder. But really just making money, being so in debt seems to be a major goal in this. Let's just take a look at this. I think this is all the review of the case. I guess we'll start here. Yeah, I guess we'll start around here.
Dealing with grief after her husband, Eric, and leaving her children without a dad. I want to bring in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas. All right, Cody, what do we know about this grief book?
Well, she wrote it a year after Eric's death, after her husband Eric's death, and she said she wrote it to help her sons cope with the loss of their father. So, Vinny, Eric was found dead March of 2022. A year later, Kouri's book came out, right? It was self-published on Amazon and follows the story of a child who lost his father. It was supposed to help her and her boys, quote, on their way to healing. So here's what the foreword in the book says. It says, dedicated to my amazing husband and wonderful father. And then he goes on one page and says, quote, yes, I am with you as you walk the halls of the new school, making new friends, meeting new teachers. I will sit at your desk next to you, teaching you, pushing you to try harder, and giving you my love when you succeed.
I mean, wouldn't you dedicate this to your children? This is, and not your husband. I mean, look at the picture of Eric with the angel wings. It's just so disgusting that I just find it so revolting to murder your husband and then have this book published. I mean, she can't write about feelings she doesn't have, right? But I found it just very odd. Wouldn't you dedicate the book to your children? It's to help them through the grief. But that is a clear sign to me that she wanted to persuade with this book. She wanted to persuade the public that it was her husband she really missed. Look, I miss him so much, I dedicated the book to him. As they say, talk is cheap. And her actions, we can look at her. I might want to look at that another time. Yeah, at the end, let's look at her celebration of life the day after he was murdered with her friends. It looks like a frat party more than a memorial.
Now, Kouri Richins also appeared on the program out there in Utah called Good Morning Utah to promote her book. Take a listen to this.
My husband passed away unexpectedly last year, so it's March 4th was a 1-year anniversary for us, and he was 39. It completely took us all by shock. And we have 3 little boys, 10, 9, and 6. And, my kids and I kind of wrote this book on the different emotions and grieving processes that we've experienced last year.
So she does that, and then in May of 2023, 1 month after that TV appearance, Kouri Richins is arrested for Eric's murder. It's kind of crazy to think that the same woman who wrote that book about grieving her dead husband is now the one charged with his murder.
People get mad at me for being such a stickler on the details, but it's really important that she didn't write the book, that she had it written for her, that she had it ghost written. She had it published. She was purported to have written this book. That's as prosecutor Bloodworth said in the trial. It's an important detail that Court TV should have talked about, I think, there.
Yeah, that and I mean, everybody was like, wait, what's going on here? What? Unbelievable. Thanks, Cody. Cody's sticking around for the whole show. Let's get to that first question tonight in our investigation. And obviously it's about the book. Why did she write the book? What's going on here? Joining me, retired police commander, host of Gardens of Evil Inside the Zion Society Cult. Mike King is with us, and podcaster Roberta Glass, host of the Roberta Glass True Crime Report. Great to have you here as well. All right, we'll go ladies first. Mike, if you don't mind. Roberta, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I knew you would agree. Why do you think she wrote this book? What's really going on here?
Well, Vinny, what we know about murderers is that they play the victim so well. So she could play the victim. She could control the narrative in the public domain and make herself look like a grieving widow. And that she was helping her children through grief, if she did what she's accused of doing, the grief that she sentenced her children to, a life sentence of grief. So,
I mean, really, it's so she could try to get, I think this is like a more minor motivation. money motivation is, I think, the more major motivation. I think I get to the money motivation, like the end here, but I mean, this is like a much more minor motivation.
It's
I'll play the rest of this.
Controlling the narrative. We also saw that in her walking the dog letter, which was a letter to her mother found in her jail cell hidden in a book where she's telling her relatives what to say. So very, very similar MO.
Mike,
Control the narrative, play the victim.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, what are your thoughts here about why she wrote this book? Like, it's a year later, right? So the investigation's going on. It's a year later, and now she puts a book out, and then shortly thereafter, she gets arrested.
Yeah, Vinny, I've had quite a few thoughts on this, and I have to agree about the idea that it can help bring and remind people that she's a victim in the loss of her husband, and that she's this really good person because she's writing a book to help her kids get through the grief process. So on one hand, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt and say maybe she's doing it because it really is about the kids and about telling the story and helping the kids. But then we have to think about if the allegations are all true and if they prove to be true, how much of it could be motivated by that ability to somehow make herself a victim, remind the public that she's a victim, and then the timing, if she felt like in any way that the heat was coming on, it could have been a preemptive strike to get things in place. Yet, the other thing I keep thinking about, Vinny, is I've been through this book writing process, and the first time you write a book, you got this thing in your mind that thinks you're going to make a lot of money out of it too. And it could have been.
He ended up being totally right on that's the real motivation. It's so hard to get in these psychopathic murderers' minds, and really they don't have a lot of depth of feeling. They're cunning, but they're not as intelligent as they've been portrayed in Hollywood most of the time. They're usually about average intelligence psychopaths, but they're very cunning, manipulative people. Yeah, she loved to play the victim. She loved to try to throw off the scent, but getting caught, consequences, they're high on our priority. We're thinking about consequences all the time. Psychopaths just do what they want to do. I mean, she was looking up luxury prisons. So it's just so weird. Like, she's like, maybe if I roll the dice, I rolled the dice this way, I may get caught, but hopefully I'll get sent to a luxury prison. So she was Googling or looking up on the internet. I hate that word, Googling. Looking up on the internet, luxury prisons. Hold on one second. I just need a sip of coffee. So I just wanted to kind of bring this up to just talk about, this is like the way we were talking about this book before trial. I think everybody was kind of like on the same page. Like, of course she's doing it to evade law enforcement, play the victim in the public domain, and possibly gain some monetary advantage from it. When the reality seems to be, from what we were shown in court, and now we're not shown everything in court. I know we place a lot of emphasis on the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, but we never get the whole truth in these trials. We get a very curated version of the truth, and we make our opinions on what is shown to us. So by omitting certain evidence and putting certain evidence in context can make a huge difference into how we view things. But just in the limited view that we're given of our text messages, bingo. Yeah, I want to make a lot of money. And let's just look. I find this so amazing, this bit of footage. This is Kouri Richins a day after her husband. I know I never get tired of looking at this. I find it so strange. This is her husband. She invited some friends over to celebrate Eric Richins' life. And for those not able to look at their screen, her friends are all around a kitchen aisle. Looks like a very sparsely decorated home. They're all around a kitchen aisle and they're shotgunning beer. So they're like putting a hole in the middle of the beer can and drinking it sideways from the hole. Like frat boys or frat party, like you do at a frat party. Not that I ever did that, but some people do that at frat parties. It's hardly the somber celebration of life you'd expect after someone, or just even the tone of it is so off for Kouri Richins' husband just being found dead, very, very young, with father of 3 children. Here's Kouri Richins celebrating like without a care in the world. Take a look.
Right, ready? See, I'm getting all 3.
Cheers, boys.
Yep, come back in the corner with us. There we go.
Richard.
Richard.
Yep.
Richard.
Look, Chachi's still going.
Ron, turn the hot sexy eye.
What is that look? What is this look about?
Ron, turn the hot sexy eye.
Oh!
Wait, did I not go back far enough? Look at her here. I find this so odd. What is that look? I know I always go back to the same spot in this video. But she's like hugging the refrigerator with her arm defensively over her chest. Like if you swore to took an oath with her hand in a fist, with her arm on her shoulder, across her chest, with her fist on her shoulder. And her chin down, making a kind of demonic face.
Look, Chachi's still going.
Ron, turn the hot sexy eye.
Oh! You're an Afghanistan warrior.
You are an Afghanistan warrior.
Yeah, the saddie face comes too late, Kouri Richins.
You're about to give in the matter before the court.
What? Okay, here we go. Back to Detective O'Driscoll's statement. Take a listen. We're going to just be wrapping up till, I don't know how long I'll be doing this. I'll be hanging out for a while, wrapping up the best parts of the Kouri Richins trial. This is no trial today. There's a charging conference at 3. We'll be live for that. But I'm got nothing better to do than watch the highlights of some of the Kouri Richins trial. So hang out with me and watch it. Here's Detective O'Driscoll's direct testimony.
Of course. Folks, a short restroom break, please. Have a seat, folks. Ms. Nestor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. O'Driscoll's part of the
That's
investigation.
fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
You can talk to Detective O'Driscoll during the break. Folks, we're going to take a break until 2:10. Thank you. Court's in recess. Mr. Bloodworth, please proceed.
Detective, did your investigation eventually lead you to Carmen Lober?
Yes, it did.
How?
This is a bit of a long-winded answer, so I'll try to just go step by step. We had the information from the autopsy, the tox results, as I mentioned. We had just gotten the downloads from Miss Richins and Eric's phones, and we're starting to go through them. We started comparing what was in the phones with phone billing records for their carriers. We found discrepancies between what was in the phone billing records and what was actually in Miss Richins' phone as far as call logs and text messages. We started looking at the most frequently contacted phone numbers in Miss Richins' phone and in Eric's phones. We found that there were a high number of communications between Miss Richins and the phone number for Carmen Lober. So we started looking into Carmen Lober and found that she had a history of drug use and drug distribution. We found that she was on drug court probation in Wasatch County. My partner, Detective Maynard, actually had previous involvements with Carmen, knew a little bit about her. We started looking at who else was, or I'm sorry, we spoke with investigators from Wasatch County that were familiar with Carmen's case, and then learned that Mr. Nick Bonsavage was also in drug court with her and that they were pretty good friends. We started pulling phone billing records for Mr. Bonsavage and found that he had a high number of contacts, communications with the Gunnison State Prison. And so we went to the Gunnison State Prison and requested the phone calls between inmates and Mr. Bonsavage. We started listening to those phone calls because they're all recorded. And we found an instance where Mr. Bonsavage was speaking to an inmate on the phone, and they were discussing getting an Xbox controller for the inmate. And he said, either you buy it or have Carmen buy it and I'll pay you back. Nick said something to the effect of, no, I can't have Carmen do it. I just tried to give her money the other day, and she told me that she had just made a bunch of money selling illicit street drugs. So that obviously, and that phone call took place on March 4th, the day that Eric died. So that gave us more reason to look into Carmen Lober. We started surveilling her. As part of our investigation into her, we collected the trash from her home. And in going through the trash, we found drug paraphernalia, specifically tin foil with burn marks and residue on it. And based on my training experience, that's indicative of somebody smoking a substance off of the tin foil. Based on that information, we then applied for a search warrant.
At this point, I'm going to object to a narrative.
Oh, I'm sorry, a moment. Mr. Bloodworth, go ahead.
Sir, what did you do next?
Based on that information that we had collected, we wrote a search warrant for Carmen Lober's residence, for her vehicle, and for her person. And that included, among other things, cell phones.
Did you execute that search warrant on April the 26th, 2023?
Yes.
And did you personally execute the portion involving searching Carmen Lober's home?
Yes, I did.
Did you find any evidence of a crime in her home?
Yes. In Miss Lober's bedroom, we found THC products, paraphernalia, and a firearm under her bed.
And as it relates to Miss Lober specifically, what was the problem with the firearm?
She was a convicted felon, and by state statute, she's not allowed to be in possession of a firearm.
When searching Carmen Lober's room, did you also find a newspaper clipping of Eric Richins' obituary?
Yes.
Scott, can I get 8-15 split screened with 8-16, please? Sir, is that photograph on the left? It's labeled 8-15R, an accurate depiction of a photograph of Eric Richins' obituary in Carmen Lober's room?
Yes, it is.
Is 8-16R, the photograph on the right, an accurate depiction, just the same obituary, but just a closer view?
Yeah, zoomed in from the original, correct.
Your Honor, the state moves to admit and publish 8-15 and 8-15R and 8-16R.
No objection.
815R and 816R are admitted.
Detective, what was your impression of kind of the collection of material on the left?
Based on knowing that Carmen was in drug court and knowing a little bit about that, how that program works, it seems like she had all of these inspirational quotes that helped motivate her through her progression in drug court. And amongst them were photos of her loved ones, her family, and then amongst all of that was Eric Richins' obituary.
Dead center, wasn't it?
Yep, right in the middle of the mirror.
Detective, is this an accurate depiction of a photograph of a C&E hat that you found in Carmen Lober's room?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves to admit and publish 8-18.
No objection.
8-18 is admitted.
And then can you, Scott, zoom in? There we go.
Yeah, that's the C&E stonemasonry logo on that gray hat.
Simultaneous with your search of Carmen Lober's home, did another deputy stop Carmen Lober while she was driving?
Yes, we planned it that way because we had a warrant for Carmen's person and her vehicle as well.
Did that deputy seize her phone?
Yes.
During that stop, did that deputy find evidence of a crime?
Yes, he found that Carmen was driving on a suspended license.
Did he arrest her for driving on a suspended license?
Yes, he did.
Did that stop occur in Wasatch County?
Yes.
Did that deputy then book Carmen Lober into the Wasatch County Jail?
Yes, he did.
Did you and Detective Maynard then interview Carmen Lober at the Wasatch County Jail?
Yes, we interviewed her several times over a number of days.
What was your approach to interviewing her?
So as I said before, my partner, Detective Maynard, had previous involvement and knowledge of Carmen Lober. He knew that she had a history of self-preservation and offering information in exchange for help with her charges. So we knew that going into it. But on top of that, after serving the warrant on her home and being in her bedroom, finding Eric's obituary, it was apparent to me that she probably had some level of guilt or concern over her possible involvement in Eric's death.
Object to speculation and move to strike and non-responsive.
All of it or just parts?
Just the last part.
Okay. Can you be specific about the content of the last part you're moving to strike?
How he assumed Carmen felt by what he saw.
Okay. That part is struck as speculation. Take it from there, Mr. Bloodworth.
Your Honor, can I argue that?
Yeah, why don't you go approach? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I misunderstood Ms. Nestor's objection. My granting of the motion to strike was incorrect. You may consider Detective O'Driscoll's testimony, give it whatever weight you see fit.
So in addition to what you believe to be Carmen Lober's motive for self-preservation, upon seeing Eric Richins' obituary, am I right that you thought she might also have some motivation related to her potential involvement in Eric Richins' death?
Correct. That was my impression.
What did you tell Carmen Lober when you first interviewed her?
When we first spoke to Miss Lober, we sat down with her. We explained that what we had found in her home would potentially violate her conditions of her drug court, which would put her on the hook for, I believe, multiple felony charges of distribution that she was in drug court for, as well as the new charges with the firearm and the paraphernalia and THC products. We told her that we were investigating Eric Richins' death and that we believe that she may have information about his death that could be helpful to us. And we told her that if she was willing to speak to us about any information she might know, that we could help her with her charges in Wasatch County, as well as the new charges from the execution of the search warrant.
Did you then immediately question her?
No, we didn't ask her any questions at that time. We told her that this was the situation. We wanted her to think on whether or not she wanted to participate in our proposal in talking with us, and then we let her sit and think on it for a few days.
How many times have you interviewed drug dealers?
Dozens, if not over 100 times.
Was anything about interviewing Carmen Lober more difficult than interviewing most drug dealers?
Yes. There was more time that had elapsed since the incident that we were talking to her about than what is typical for our interviews. So she had trouble with memory, remembering details of what had happened. And then again, what I spoke about earlier, she had a history of self-preservation. So she tended to minimize her involvement and hold back as much as she.
Here's a good explanation. I'll go back just a little bit as to why Carmen Lober was such a terrible witness in this case. I think she's still minimizing her role. I think the state did a good job presenting evidence that supported whatever statement. But if you want a clear line about where she left the drugs and where they were picked up, was it in the fire pit? Was it someplace else? I don't know. It's, this is the kind of witness that victims' family members have nightmares about. They'll still protect themselves. They want to do the right thing, but they also want to protect themselves and their reputation. They're not very honest with themselves about their part. They haven't reached that honesty phase with themselves. I don't know if she ever will. I mean, you can look at the fact that she had Eric Richins' picture up in her obituary up in her room in in detox/rehab as a motivation for her to get clean in two ways. One is, a lot of different ways. You could look at it as like, this could be me. I could be dead from these drugs. You can look at it as, look, I nearly got charged with a murder. My actions caused this man's death and I feel remorse. Or I'll put this, I put this up so I'm showing that I really did care, that my actions, if I hadn't been the middle woman, this man may still have been alive. I want to show that I have remorse. I want to do but I don't, my feelings are conflicted. I don't know. She's a very difficult witness. I think the state knew that she was a difficult witness. One of the few witnesses to be called back to the stand. I think she got caught in a bunch of lies on cross. The defense will look at her testimony next. Most troublesome testimony. Does it prove that? I think it's been proven just by the communications that Kouri Richins got the drugs from Carmen Lober. But was she a great witness? No. I think one of the worst witnesses in this case, looking back on it.
She tended to minimize her involvement and hold back as much as she could, which is typical of drug dealers that we talk to. They won't give you any more than they have to until they feel like they need to.
Did Carmen Lober initially inform you that she bought drugs for Kouri Richins?
Not initially. Like I said, she very much minimized her involvement. When she first started talking about it, she said, there's a little bit that I know, and I want to help you with the little bit that I know. But then as we asked her more questions and got more into it, she was more forthcoming with the information that she had, and ultimately told us that Miss Richins had contacted her to ask her for pain pills.
And did she ultimately tell you that she bought drugs on Kouri Richins' behalf from Susan Kohler and from a friend of Nicole Cummings named Robert Crozier?
Yes.
Did she appear that she wanted to cooperate but was having difficulty remembering timeline and details regarding the drug transaction?
Object to leading.
Overruled.
Not only did it appear that way, but she was explicit in saying that several times, that she was having difficulty to remember but wanted to help with what she could.
At various points during your interview, did you provide Kouri Richins with information to jog her memory?
I believe you meant Carmen Lober. You said
I'm
Kouri
sorry,
Richins.
Carmen Lober.
Yes, we provided content from her phone. We provided her with phone billing records that had timestamps that helped us establish a timeline. We showed her maps. We showed her property records. Anything that we could find that would mostly help us establish a timeline and order of events.
Did you stress to Carmen Lober that she needed to be truthful?
Yeah, several times we told her that we didn't want her to try to make things up, that only tell us what she remembered and only tell us what was truthful. And then we also stressed that we needed a great deal of detail in the things that she was telling us, not vague comments.
Well, we got a lot of vague comments on the stand. They wanted details. They got a lot of vague comments, and it didn't get a whole lot better. I'm still unsure what exactly went on as far as drop off, pickup, etc.
Did you tell her that you did not want her to speculate on anything?
More leading. Object.
Overruled.
Yes, I believe there are multiple instances in the transcripts and the videos that show when we said, don't try to guess at what we're asking you. Only tell us what you can remember.
Did you stress to Carmen Lober that you needed to corroborate any information that she provided?
Yes, we were explicit in telling her that any kind of immunity or assistance or help that she would get from prosecutor's office would be dependent on not just her telling us what she knew, but giving us information that would allow us to corroborate that information.
And did you stress to her that you needed details in particular, details to corroborate the information?
Object to leading.
Overruled.
Yes, and that discussion got deeper and deeper the more we talked to her. We kept stressing we need more detail. These are the type of details that we need, and it just kept going from there.
Did you and/or Detective Maynard interview Carmen Lober 6 times between April the 27th, 2023 and May the 13th, 2023?
Yes, I wasn't there for every single one, but either myself or Detective Maynard was, yes.
Why 6 interviews?
As we spoke to Miss Lober, she would give us information that she could remember. We would take that information back and work on corroborating it with other evidence, phone records, other details from other witnesses. And then we would go back. We would ask her more questions, try to get more information, more details. It was just a step-by-step iterative process that took several days until we felt like we had the complete picture of what her involvement was.
Did those interviews total about 10 hours?
I believe so, yes.
Were they audio and video recorded?
Yes.
Have you reviewed transcripts of those interviews?
Yes, I have.
Do those transcripts total about 900 pages?
Yes, I believe so.
Did you listen to defense counsel's cross-examination of Carmen Lober regarding your and Detective Maynard's interviews?
I did.
Did you observe how defense picked certain sentences throughout the 900 pages?
Yes.
In the full context of the interviews, do you believe that those few sentences fairly and accurately depicted the tone and tenor of your interview?
Object, Your Honor.
What's the basis of the objection?
He's trying to make impeachment sound improper, and it's totally not improper. It is.
Don't make speaking objections. Are you objecting to the form of the question?
Yes.
What is the objection to the form of the question?
Your Honor, we object to the form of the question on the grounds that It is seeking a legal conclusion on the grounds that it is leading and on the grounds that it is calling for speculation.
Overruled. Go ahead, Did.
No, I don't feel like those segments that they picked out at all represented our interviews with Carmen.
Do you think that those segments without context are misleading?
Object to leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, I believe they're misleading.
One of those segments said, or quoted you saying that you needed details to ensure that Kouri Richins will get convicted of murder, and that shortly thereafter Carmen Lober asked for blueprints. What was the context of that discussion?
So as I said before, when we were discussing with Carmen, it was very slow moving at first. And we were trying to emphasize to her the level of detail that we needed to be able to offer her something from the prosecution's office for her cooperation. And part of that emphasis was trying to describe to her the level of detail that would be needed in a courtroom. And it was probably poor choice of words in hindsight, but that was what we were stressing, is the type of information that is acceptable to be used in a court.
Defense counsel also picked the words "get out of jail free card" that Detective Maynard uttered. What was the context of "get out of jail free card"?
So the comment that Detective Maynard made was coupling her, referencing whatever prosecution would offer her in exchange for her testimony, coupled with the fact that there was now a family that didn't have a brother, that didn't have a son, and the importance of the investigation into Eric's death as opposed to any subsequent drug investigations that Ms. Lober was involved in.
Defense counsel also picked the words from Carmen Lober. Can you guys write it down and I will sign it? What was that context?
We were trying to get Carmen to complete a written statement to go along with the scattered information that we had been receiving through our interview process, so that we could establish a more chronological timeline. And she was expressing concerns about not wanting to be writing things down in front of other inmates in the cell block. So she wanted us to write it down instead.
And what did you say?
We said, no, that's not the way it works.
Scott, can I get, please, 8-58R? Is this a video of various portions of your May 2nd, 2023 interview of Carmen Lober that we have just discussed?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, the state moves to publish 8-58R.
Just the ones we've already discussed, the objections, Your Honor.
8-58R, as ruled on by the court on the record, is admitted.
Your Honor, can I just make 8-58, D for demonstrative, R for redacted, DR.
8-58DR.
That's because he didn't deserve it. Like, it's just not me. Like, I can tell you, I affected people's life by selling dope.
Right.
Okay, I affected my own life by doing dope.
What I'm getting at.
No, whether it was intentionally, whether he had a back problem, or whether he was hurt, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, if it was done purposely, he didn't deserve that.
Totally
But I
agree.
don't know that for sure because I don't know their personal situation.
Totally agreed.
So I would never do that ever to anybody.
I'm saying that we're gonna need you to really settle down and maybe even take
I'm
a
like,
pad and paper
Even if I get
and try to write
out
out
tomorrow,
some
whatever,
details.
we meet again, I can go through
Well, we're gonna
whatever.
talk about that too.
If I need to go through whatever I need to go through and figure it out.
But you know what I'm saying, these details that you're giving us are kind of hazy.
That's because it's to me.
And it's common for people to try to kind of minimize their own involvement, but we're not interested in smacking you with this. But this, at the end of the day, it was the reason we're here. This is a
Like, I don't know if I
this
should
is a
reach out to
homicide
Susan
risk.
Kohler and say, hey, do you know about approximately the time when I got those pills from you? I don't know if she's going to.
Probably not a good idea. But I'm just saying, we're gonna need you to kind of settle down and think about details and timelines. Because we understand that you weren't a part of, conspiring with Kouri. But the details about everything we've been talking about are gonna be important.
Right.
It's a homicide investigation.
Oh, that's gonna be worse.
Yeah, it is.
That is.
It's something that like none of us are used to, right? We don't do it that often. It's pretty crazy for us too. Not just you to think about, like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So right now, we're in a good place to where we've got the information that we were hoping you had and needed from you, right? But there's a difference between us knowing and understanding what happened and us being able to present that to prosecutors who have to present it to a courtroom, who have to present it to a jury, right? That has to be way more detailed down the line the further it gets into the system, the process.
Right.
Okay, so that's what we need your help with at this point, is nailing down all the details. And like Eric said, if that means have you fill out something in writing and, oh shoot, that's not how it happened, scratch it out, rewrite it, whatever you need to do, right? Write down something as far as you remember it right now, and then we can work on the details as we continue to talk about it, as we check phone records, as we, do all of our part, our side to corroborate what you're saying, right? And I think a good starting point for that is a written statement. For you to sit down and write out what you told us in the best order that you can remember.
And my favorite now, everything I just told you, I probably won't remember what order I just told you in.
It's okay. And that's fine, because you know what? We want to make sure we get the right story. And so the way you're remembering it is all you can give us. You can't make something up that you don't remember, right?
Right.
So just tell us what
That's
you
why
remember.
I can't remember.
Even if it's like, I remember it was cold
everything.
outside, I remember there was.
Like I said, I
on the ground.
remembered there was, because it was very light snow, like I said. It wasn't something that I had to wear boots in or anything.
When does the time change now? When did we go? March
or April.
Is it March 15th?
Yeah. Like that.
So,
It was dark, because I had to pull, because I didn't even know where this house was. So I had to use Google
so what
Maps, I
time of the day was it? I mean, if it was dark.
It was towards the
5:30.
evening.
So afternoonish evening?
No. It was darker because I had to use the light on the car.
To see the fire pit or.
Mm-hmm. So I had to pull into the driveway and pull the light onto the fire pit, like.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's say this is the house. And if I'm coming that way, and I know I turned right, came down the street, it was right there, and I pulled into the driveway, the slant, and there was just it wasn't a big fire pit, like, it was a tiny fire pit, it wasn't like, probably, those white cinder blocks, not cinder blocks, but the white flat rocks that people build.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't big, it wasn't a big, deep one,
The shallow one.
real, yeah. Like, I wanna say there was like maybe 2 or 3 on top, and that was it, it wasn't even a complete one.
And what was the money packaged in? Didn't just leave it loose? Did it have a rubber band around it? Was it a bag? Envelope? Was the envelope marked with like a bank or just like plain white envelope?
Just a plain white one, I believe. It didn't have nobody's name, didn't have nothing on it, it was just up against, like in the front of it again. Like that, so.
So I have a question, thinking about all your communications with Kouri.
Can we pause it for just one moment?
Scott, please proceed.
On the phone, maybe in a cloud, maybe anything like that?
I wouldn't even know how to operate a cloud.
Okay. Would it be in your phone?
I have no idea.
Like,
You guys have all my phones right now.
like did you erase?
I mean, that's what I was told.
That's why I asked you about them being deleted, because.
I don't know,
you can
look
see
at
on
those
your
things,
phone.
I mean, you guys.
Well, I think that's a fair question, Carmen, and we're getting down to the brass tacks of this, and so I feel like we owe it to you to kind of start talking to you about what we do know. What we do know is within a day or two after Eric dying, we got a new phone. Okay?
I think that's because that one died.
Possibly. We also know that there are texts between you and Kouri that were deleted. I delete them too. Again, we're not looking to put new charges on you, but we're getting down to that area. We're going to need to be more open and honest with each other, because there's things that we're talking to you about that conflict with some evidence that we have to an extent. And again, I'm not here to beat you over the head with it. As a cooperating witness, that.
Wow, you can feel the frustration. And what the defense used in cross-examination, we'll look at it in a second, of Carmen Lober. This is the interview with Carmen Lober with detectives. You can hear her, you can see her physically recoil when they ask her about, they say, we know that you deleted your text messages between you and Kouri Richins. And then they say, well, we're not going to charge you with it. And then you can see her body relax. Want to see it? I don't know. I don't want to go, beat a dead horse, but let's just look at it. Let's just look at it again. You got a new phone right after Eric died. Let's watch it from there.
Okay.
I think that's because Ellen died.
Possibly. We also know that there are texts between you and Kouri that were deleted. I delete them too.
Yeah, that's because my phone died. Strangely, Eric died, then my phone died, and I had to get a new one the next day. You wonder how much she was really in on this plot. You wonder how much she knew. I mean, it would be stupid of Kouri Richins to tell her what she planned to do with it, but just never know.
Again, we're not looking to put new charges on you, but we're getting down to that area. We're going to need to be more open and honest with each other, because there's things that we're talking to you about that conflict with some evidence that we have to an extent. And again, I'm not here to beat you over the head with it. As a cooperating witness, that information is actually really good for you. And frankly, is now a good time to kind of talk to her about the conversation I had with McKay. So here's where it's at with McKay and your drug court, okay? They are looking for, and this is going to be upsetting, but let me finish. They're looking to pull your drug court deal and ask for 7 years on your two first. 5 years for the one felony, and then a 40% portion for the second, for 7 years. The only exception to that, and the only thing that they're willing to kind of help you out with, is if you can help us out with this.
And by so, he means like, give us the details.
I mean, so here's where we are with, I guess, felony distribution, felony. So they gave her drug court because they found a gun under her bed. She says it's her roommate's gun. I mean, hard to know what to believe of this woman. Really, seriously, it's hard. Her roommate's son's gun. I'm sorry, roommate's son's gun. Hard to believe that the roommate's son would have a gun under her bed. She was dealing with some rough characters. She may be a rough character herself. Glad she turned around her life if she did. But certainly the defense made her sobriety seem a lot more in question than they did. They took it really easy on the drug dealer that she got these drugs from, certainly. But I just where we're at with drug convictions. I mean, doing 14 years, I mean, or even 7 years for a drug conviction, weapons charge. I don't know how they do in Utah, but New York, I mean, the reason they started drug court is because we have, what they call mass incarceration problem. We also have a mass violence problem. But so they tried to keep people out of prison for drug crimes by diverting them to drug court. So if they cleaned up their act, they wouldn't have to go to jail or go to prison and serve time for a drug charge, because we've had this war on drugs forever. And it seems like as long as people want to get high, this, we're not going to make much progress on it. So this was a solution to it. But here they're talking about pulling her drug court, meaning like you violated your drug court probation too much. They're going to just charge you and they're going to throw the book at you for these crimes. Unless you help us. So basically, to me, the benefit of hindsight, certainly looks like we're going to throw the book at you. Can you please get honest with us? Please just tell us we don't want you to lie. Just tell us what happened. We're really looking to get Kouri Richins on a murder charge. Your drug charge is infinitely less important to us as far as the safety of the people of Utah.
That will ensure Kouri gets convicted of murder.
Oh my God.
This is a serious case, Carmen. I'm not
that
trying
is way more of my.
I know, and listen,
Don't freak out, okay, because this is a long process.
and this is a good thing, and this
We're
is
here to
good
help
news
you.
for you. So there's one more consideration that McKay has. Do you need a minute?
No, go.
And this is kind of funny because,
It's nothing funny
well,
about
this
it.
second part is, it looks like you guys figured out how and when people were gonna test, looking at your text messages, you and Bon Savage.
We just know it's
And that's
sometimes
fucking awesome. I wanna know how you did. Are you tracking with me, what I'm saying?
I'm
We,
catching what you're throwing, believe me.
we need hard details. There's no more
I'm
string
going
around
to
it.
do whatever because I've struggled so hard to get with my math.
That's great motivation.
And I literally want to complete drug court and I want to move out of state. I want to leave all this behind,
Well, that's the only way you get
my
people out
past.
of your life.
Like, I don't want no ties with nobody. I want to change my phone number. Me and Troy were talking about it. Like, completion of drug court, my
Mr.
shit's
Las
packed
Vegas
in.
drug.
Don't call him. Yeah, I told him you call him that, he laughed. I said, you know, you're known as Mr. Vegas.
I think that's what you need to do, Carmen. You need to
like, even my daughter's
get
on
out of
board.
here and start over.
And he's an amazing person. Like, I've never had someone that came in my life. Like,
That's a good thing.
I'm willing, like, day of graduation, I want to be gone. Like, I want to leave hiding towels. I want talk to nobody in my life. I don't.
We have some hurdles here.
And that's why I said, I no longer want to work for the Kouri. Kouri. I don't want, I want to do what I can help do, what needs to be done to fix this.
Well, I feel like that as you were telling us that, you know, there was some talk about, can you get what MJ had, and it was kind of very superficial. Can you retell that story with all the detail you can remember?
I really can't, like, I just remember, I don't even know if it was, because like I said, I can barely remember some of it because it was so long ago. But I want to say it was the Michael Jackson, and like I said,
So tell me how that conversation would be structured. She sends you a text and she tells you,
I want to say maybe she did say that.
she says, can you get,
She said it first to Michael Jackson, and that I know because
and so tell me how that would have been said. Because I didn't know Michael Jackson died of.
I didn't know he do either. Like I said,
I knew it was
Googled
drug overdose, but like not specifically fentanyl.
Was it?
I don't know, look it up.
Look it up because I'm so curious too. But
So the thought was insinuated that she wanted you to get something that somebody could die from.
I know one thing that when we got one, it wasn't dark enough. I don't even know how fentanyl really goes.
So there was a couple of, there was
one.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
I can see in your face.
Several transactions.
So I wanted, it's so confusing, but okay. So I want to say when she asked, but like I said, I can't remember when you.
We'll give you all the time in the world that you need to think and remember, Carmen, but
it's
I just want you, I want you to know that if you're gonna work with us here, in
It
order
would
for
be
you
so
to be
easier if you
credible.
had like pieces that we can, like blueprints.
Here's
yeah.
the biggest piece.
I don't want to be that big piece.
Well, the good news is that big piece helps you out
And
tremendously.
that's what, like I said,
You hold all the
I
cards.
love Eric. He was a damn good dude and he didn't deserve it. It was done intentionally. He did not deserve it.
We believe you, and that's why we're here working on what your get out of jail free card looks like, based on this information. But there's 3 little boys that don't have a dad. There's a family that doesn't have a brother. You know,
Oh, and I get that.
Corey's at with the deal, but
But like you guys said, she's living her life right now, and that's everybody else is fucking suffering. Like them
that's
little
what it
boys
appears.
love their daddy.
I'm sure they did.
I mean, I've seen it. Eric was that was his pride possession. Them boys were his everything. And people complain about he was gone all the time, or he worked so much, but you know what? At the end of the day, when he come in, them boys were there. And he was, like I said, that it weighed heavy on me.
What? So we need to start getting this on paper. What's gonna happen tomorrow with your OSC hearing? You're gonna appear for it. McKay's just gonna say that he's not prepared to speak to it to get us a day or 2.
Okay.
So we're gonna come back tomorrow.
But can we get it cleared up this week?
I think we can get it cleared up as far as our end of it as quickly as we can get a timeline down. I know this is exhausting. I am concerned about sending paperwork back with you in your cell because then everybody's gonna be like, what's that?
Yeah, can you guys just write it and I sign it?
Oh, no, that doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Because this is gonna have to be your testimony.
Do I have to go to court? Well, that's what I just don't want to do.
Detective, there's several references in that video to McKay. Who is McKay?
McKay King is a prosecutor with the Wasatch County Attorney's Office.
And he was the prosecutor of the drug court?
I believe so. He's the prosecutor that we talked to and dealt with.
Talked to in terms of getting immunity.
Correct.
There's one more statement that defense counsel picked out. That was that Detective Maynard said, the goal is to convict Kouri of aggravated murder. Do you recall the context for that statement?
Yes. Detective Maynard was speaking with Carmen about the possibility of having to appear before a grand jury. And he again was explaining to her that process and how that works and the details that they needed for that court hearing as well as an investigation. And he was trying to convey to her the level of detail that they needed.
Scott, can I get exhibit 8-62 Delta Romeo, please? Is this an accurate depiction of the May 12th, 2023 interview?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, the state moves to publish 8-62DR.
Previous objections, Your Honor, that have been ruled on.
Okay. States 8-62DR is admitted and published.
And this is serious shit, but that's more up the chain serious shit. Like to the highest extreme, I think.
Well, but here's the thing, you've cooperated. At the end of the day, everybody is on the same page.
Yeah.
The goal is to convict Kouri for an aggravated murder. These parallel drug investigations, those aren't priority.
Right.
The shit goes on every day, everywhere. That's not what we're here for.
Right.
Right. The goal is to get Kouri Richins. Come hell or high water. I mean, if you're a defense attorney, you're going to be you're going to say, bingo, see, it was a witch hunt to get Kouri Richins. They had to get the evidence, but we know, they know this is what was the middle woman. She's got a lot of information. It's pretty obvious Kouri did this. Let's just get the evidence. Get some evidence together that will meet the prosecution's burden. It's not always, there's so many crimes. We talk about Wendy Adelson. When will Wendy Adelson be arrested in this case? And my feeling is never. I didn't used to feel like this. I really thought that maybe she might be last because I knew she was the most difficult. In the Dan Markel's, she remains an unindicted co-conspirator in her husband's murder for hire. It was a murder for hire, Florida. But here, this is the kind of stuff you look to exploit if you're a defense attorney. People who get deals, people, I laugh when in Oklahoma they patched like this anti-snitch law, like I think you couldn't, I don't know exactly, like essentially you can't use snitches' testimony, but jailhouse snitches have solved so many cases. That's tend to be where criminals start talking in jail when they're just out of boredom, and we're human animals, and we need, criminals especially killers they have a need to confess and a need to get away with it, and so often they act in contradictory and conflicting ways. So this is something that we see, like, don't trust the snitches, don't trust the people who make deals. I think you can bring some skepticism, but just to outright say, well, because they had a deal, I can't trust them, I think is wrong. I think Carmen Lober, if all we had were her words, it would be a very troubling case if we had to base it solely on her words. She's not she came across as an extremely dishonest witness. Pale next to, what was it, Robert Crozier, the drug dealer. She looked much more honest. That guy came across as a creepoid liar, and a braggart. Here, she, for whatever reasons, I don't believe her memory is as bad. I mean, she said, drugs have rotted out my brains. I mean, what are the drugs that you think would really rot your memory? You think of THC, hallucinogenics, but generally people with opiate addictions, you don't say, oh, their memory is going to be so bad because of an opiate addiction. Cocaine addiction, same way. These aren't drugs, meth. These aren't drugs where you think, like, maybe meth because of lack of sleep, but these aren't drugs that you generally think that would really degrade your memory significantly.
That was a thought thinking, though, that made it.
Well, that's why I had to clear this up, because I'm not going to, give you an empty promise that
Right.
if it's bullshit, I'm not going to say it.
So do I have to go down there Wednesday?
So yes, that's something totally different than all of this. That is basically formalizing.
Good point. Alcohol is a drug, certainly. But I mean, would you say, like, oh, I smoked for 25 years, it rotted my brain? Nicotine? You know what I mean? There's a great deal of difference between the type of drug you did and the believability of the claim that you rotted your brain with that drug. I just don't believe her memory's as bad as she says it is. Sorry.
Your testimony. This is street cop level in an interview room, right? That's where it's formalized with the grand jury.
But then they can't come back on me, right?
No, they're not going to charge you.
With nothing?
No.
Okay.
Detective, did you arrest Kouri Richins on May the 8th, 2023, pursuant to an arrest warrant?
Yes, I did.
That same day, did detectives execute a search warrant on the Willow Court home?
Yes, the Richins home.
Were Kouri Richins and her sons living at the home at that time?
They were living there, but we planned the execution of our search warrant intentionally to avoid the boys being home, so we waited till after they went to school.
When detectives executed that warrant, did they recover an orange notebook from a nightstand in the master bedroom on Kouri Richins' side of the bed?
Yes.
Scott Exhibit 2-66, please. Detective, is this an accurate depiction of a portion of that orange notebook?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, the state moves to admit and publish 2-66R.
We renew all our previous objections that have been ruled on by the court already, Your Honor.
Understood. 2-66R is admitted and published.
All right, let me read this to you guys. Hold on one second. Let me go back. Oh, I just read this last night, but or the night before last. The day started out as a typical day. Ashton had a dentist appointment. So this is the beginning of her teeth obsession with this day. That morning to get a filling put for his cavity. After the dentist, we headed back home so Ashton could stay home with Weston A. Bailey while I went to do my weekly volunteering at the school. That afternoon evening, I made dinner. We all ate as usual. So she really wants to let you know it was a usual, normal, nothing unusual happened kind of day. It was definitely not a day where she murdered her husband. And ended that night, this is from her diary, like any other evening around 8, or her notebook. At around 8:30, I read the kids' books, just vague books with no name. And about 9, they all climbed into bed. No teeth brushing for them. Eric had been on his phone most of the evening in a texting war with a hunting guide from Mexico and a few other people trying to get his horns back to the U.S. Around 9:15, he was screaming mad. So it makes you wonder if they had a fight, if he was really screaming mad, not at these people on the phone, but at Kouri Richins, at these guys, and through his phone. I'm so curious. You know, we didn't hear anything about the children's interviews and what they heard on this day. Never came into evidence. At that point, he said, let's go have a celebration drink. The following day, I was closing on a huge investment home, the swampland home of this not finished mini mansion on swampland that the government can come do tests on the swampland around this mini mansion anytime. Like, I mean, they're jokes like you want to buy, you know, if you believe that, I have a, you know, piece of swampland to sell you in Utah. I mean, doesn't it sound like the punchline to a joke? I wonder what happened. I guess it got foreclosed on. I had been working, just wondering what happened to that mini mansion property, that Midway property. I'd been working on this deal for 4 months, and closing day was finally here, and Eric and I went and I were going to toast to the closing. We went into the kitchen and both started grabbing ingredients for a Moscow Mule and a lemon drop shot. He was going on and on. I mean, that shows such anger towards Eric Richins. Anyone going on and on, it's not something that you look forward to, someone going on and on about a topic. It's not like he told me this fascinating story of how he was in a war. I don't think this ever happened. This may have happened some other time. She may be using a real memory here of him screaming mad about getting his horns back. But I think that she put in the story because Mexico, they wanted to make a connection between Mexico and the drugs, Eric buying the drugs in Mexico. And just to have him do something, because I think she killed him much earlier than 9 o'clock. The EMT said he'd been dead for quite some time. The first part, okay, yeah. So they immediately took over, getting out the defibrillator and starting compressions. The worst part, okay, actually, we'll go back to the night. Let's see if I can read this to you. Okay, he was going on and on. Okay. We finished talking, made our way back to our room. I think she's going to write our room and brushed our teeth again with the teeth brushing. As we both climbed in bed, we could hear Ashton moaning and tossing and turning. He was having nightmares again. I told Eric I would go to sleep with him and try to calm him down. Isn't that it? Wouldn't you say, I went to Ashton to try to calm him down? Not, I told Eric I'm going to go do it, and then I just did it. When you say, like, I went to Ashton. See, she doesn't actually say she did it. She said she told Eric she was going to do it. We kissed, said, I love you and good night. Oh, then she said, I went to Ashton's room and laid with him. It's like I hid out in Ashton's room, but she doesn't say she was like calming him down. That would be your memory, like calming him down. I stroked his hair. I did this. 30 minutes later, I could hear Eric snoring. Another dig at Eric, and I finally fell asleep. March 4th. So this is at 3:20 a.m. This is when she allegedly finds Eric dead. I would just love to know what the kids witnessed that day. I woke up from sleeping. I wonder if she put them to bed early, or I woke up from sleeping with Ashton. See, the most important thing is my alibi here, not my husband not breathing. I woke up from sleeping with Ashton and went to crawl back in bed. And crawled back into bed with my husband. When you say, I crawled back into bed with my husband at 3:20. She does, but this is so important, such an important alibi. She's mentioning this twice, which makes me think that this was her plan to, like, such an important part of her alibi, the sleeping with her son. I'd love to know what her son said. She may have done it, but I don't think it's his nightmares. I think it's her need to remove herself, be away from have an alibi, be away from where the murder took place. It was dark and all, move herself, she puts herself away from Eric in two like really key areas. So one is that she only talked to him for just like a short while that night. And everything was great. They kissed, they talked. He was totally mad, screaming mad at someone else, some unidentified internet person. You wonder how well planned this really was. He got screaming mad because she put down money on this stupid swampland house that she closed on the next day, the day he was murdered. The day he was found dead, excuse me. Don't you think they were having a screaming fight about that? And she was like, okay. She had these pills ready. She's like, this is it. This is the time. Didn't work on Valentine's Day. Let's try this again. And she either spiked his food, spiked a drink. She found some way to get it into him. Obviously didn't force it down his throat, because he would have been calling 911 and trying to make himself throw up. But put it in some way that he couldn't detect. Why is he screaming mad at like some other person? It's odd, right? Love to know what Detective O'Driscoll's theory on this case is. Real theory. Like real talk. Real talk. Now that we're just like, you can say anything you want. You can. What do you think? What do you imagine from all your experience investigating drug cases and being a detective, do you think happened? My thought is that it's this stupid swampland home that was the final straw. Eric couldn't take it. Maybe he asked for divorce right there, but she knew the divorce was coming. I think the divorce was much more of a live issue than we know. Okay, she says, Eric snores more times than not. Here's another. I mean, her spelling, my spelling's not great myself, but her writing is so terrible, and punctuation, and when she chooses to punctuate things, and She goes from present tense to past tense, back and forth in this. Eric snores more times than not, so I thought it was weird. I didn't hear anything. I crawled into bed and went on Eric's side of the bed. I mean, I'm just going to read this exactly the way it's written and not correct any of the agreements, anything, okay? I woke up from sleeping with Ashton and went to crawl back in my bed. In my bed, not the bed we share, my bed. Telling, no? It was dark and awkwardly quiet. She means quiet there. Eric snores. Kind of spelled like s'mores. More times than not, so I thought it was weird. Didn't hear anything. I crawled into bed and went on Eric's side of the bed and put my arm over him. He was cold, very cold, so I pulled the blanket up on him, but his body just felt so strange to me. It was heavy, is the only word I can think to describe. She says it. So I nudged him and said, Eric, nothing. I kept nudging him and just remembered the stiffness of his body. I jumped out of bed and ran and turned the lights on. He was pale/yellow, mouth open. An urge came over me. This is so weird. An urge came over me that this wasn't. And is she really talking about, I mean, you can have a murderous urge, an urge to kill. But I think that's a little Freudian slip there. An urge came over me. I think she's like, that's a little confession there, I think. She's saying that this was done, I think it was done like she'd been planning to do this, but when I think it became a really good time when she really wanted this house, he got in the way of, she thought this was her ticket to freedom. Makes sense that we heard so much about that house in opening statements, no? Finish this up. He was cold, very cold. I pulled the blanket up on him, but his hot body felt just so heavy to me. Heavy is the only word I can think of to describe it. So I nudged him and said, Eric, nothing. I kept nudging him and just remembered the stiffness of his body. I jumped out of bed and ran and turned the lights on. He was pale, yellow, mouth open. An urge came over me that this wasn't, and she says normal. This wasn't good, excuse me. This wasn't good. I grabbed my phone and called 911. I ran up to Eric to see if he was breathing or had a pulse, but he didn't. Panic had sunk in as I was talking to dispatch. She had me pull Eric to the floor to do CPR. As much as I didn't want him basically falling on the ground, I basically made it so that he would fall on the ground. I pulled him as hard as I could to get him down and began CPR. What she wants you to think is that she was really desperate to save his life, and that's why she pulled him down on the ground so hard. But I think you could also intuit from or surmise from that statement that as much as she didn't love him, she didn't care about hurting him by pulling him as hard as she could onto the ground, that she knew he was beyond help at this point, and that this was all just play acting to convince. I pulled him as hard as I could get him down and began CPR compressions until the EMT arrived. They immediately took over, getting out their defibrillator and starting compressions. The worst part of all of it was when they were pumping his lungs and blood went everywhere. It's like on replay in my head. It's like on replay in my head. It's not quite replaying in my head. It's like it. I am not thinking about it at all. I began screaming at the EMTs. And, it's like on replay in my head and it won't go away. She's trying to say she has post-traumatic stress disorder. I began screaming at the EMTs that they weren't doing it right. She says she doesn't know how to do CPR on the 911 call, but here she knows how to do CPR and she's going to instruct the EMTs on how to do CPR. He shouldn't be bleeding. How would I really know what is right and what is wrong? According to the body cam footage, she didn't even know it was blood. She had to ask them, what's that under his nose? And they're like, the EMTs are like, that's blood. And they explained exactly what she just explained here, which is when your heart stops and you start doing chest compressions, blood can come out of your nose. How would I really know what is right and what is wrong? I have no idea. See, even she knows that that's just telling. But erasing what I just wrote is really hard. It looks like this is written out in pencil, but maybe it's pen. I have no idea. I screamed, cried, and just sat in the corner of the room by my dresser, looking back and forth, hoping and praying this was a dream, fading in and out of the moment, hoping to go back to the night where we really got along well. To the night. Gosh, this is hard to figure out where I am. To the night before where we were laughing, kissing, and saying goodnight. The EMTs finally asked me to leave the room. He could see I was visibly upset and couldn't function. He took me to the living room and had to sit down. How could he see that she was visibly upset? How do you see that someone couldn't function? I mean, how much do you have to function in that? I couldn't. I couldn't sit down. I paced back and forth until an officer came out and asked if, and a lot of this is stolen from Kouri Richins' reaction. There was someone I would like to call. I called my mom back to back until she finally picked up. I told her to come quick. The ambulance was here. Something is wrong with Eric. I was upset and crying still. I hung up and still paced back and forth until I finally just dropped to my knees, praying this wasn't happening. At that point, the head EMT walked in to tell me he didn't make it. We did all we could do. I lost it, immediately ran to the bathroom and began throwing up. Let's look at the actual body cam footage and see how close that is. I don't think that's close at all to what happened. But let's take a look at
Eric Richins thought he was celebrating. According to
is this about the body cam? I just want to see
Share the same home.
No, I just want the actual body cam footage. Hold on. Please hold. Please hold while I actually find the body cam footage so we can compare it to what she just told us. This is people talking about the body cam footage. And it was played very early on into the trial. I know I have it. It's like 1:31. I want the whole thing. It's early. All right. I'm going to go through my actual footage of it because nobody has the whole body cam footage, not all cut up. I understand. I hate the way YouTube does this, where if something's old, like they'll just throw all the stuff right in front of you. Okay, so we have a charge conference coming up where the lawyers work out. Yeah, if I can't find this, where they work out what evidence the jury's going to see. I'm going to go to my channel because I have this whole trial. I know I have to have the body cam footage. It's early on. Early on. Yeah, it's like day one. Day one. Yeah, let's look at it. Here it is. Okay. How's everybody doing? Hey, Audrey. Is everybody still with me? I just want to see how close that is to, I think it's not going to be close at all if I had to guess, but let's look at how close it is to the actual body cam footage. That was Kouri Richins' rendition.
To sleep in that room, two are awake with their ear to the door.
Okay, is everybody ready for the fake Kouri Richins fake cry? Fake cry. We're going to have a lot of fake cry here. A lot of hands over the eyes so the officer can't see our fake tears. Deputy Nugent, don't look at my eyes. There's no tears. I have no tears for the husband I murdered. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a lot of this, but of course the priority always is to say that she was in the other room with her child who had a nightmare. That's the priority, not about her husband. It's about where she was. It's the alibi is the most important thing. Red flag numero uno. Okay. So, yeah. Right in the middle. Here we go. Whoop, we missed a bunch of this. Hold on.
Pam, you want to come out? What's your first name? Go to bed.
9:30.
9:30. Okay.
9:45.
And then what alerted you to him today? Right now.
Yeah, when I just woke up, when I sleep with my kids, I'll wake up and I go back in my own bed.
Mm-hmm.
I just crawled over on his side.
And he was laying in bed. Okay.
He was on his back on the bed, and
Okay. And he was on. You said he was on his back. Okay. Where are your children now?
to sleep in that room. Two are awake with their ear to the door. I don't want them to go out. Please don't make them come out.
Where are the other two at? That are awake?
No, my bedroom.
And where's that at?
Yeah, one of the more amusing things she says in this, let me just see if I can show you. We'll go back to this. Is she says that she can, is that she could feel her children's terror through the door. And that they knew like she knew exactly what her children were going through, and that they were listening at the door. But she says, I told her to come quick. The ambulance was, this is her call to her mother. The ambulance was here. Something is wrong with Eric. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. No kidding. I was upset and crying still. It's all about her, right? I hung up and still paced back and forth and still paced back and forth. And still paced back and forth. Like I was like, she's really wants you to know that she was so upset that she was still pacing. It's not like I returned to pacing. I was pacing all through this. No, and still paced back and forth until I finally just dropped to my knees. I mean, come on. How many times have you seen actually someone drop to their knees? It's like usually when someone faints, but actually dropping to their knees while conscious is usually some theatrics. This wasn't happening. And this is all a need to persuade. And what does she need to persuade around? The fact that she wasn't involved in her husband's murder, that she was surprised, that she was in grief and shock. That's and had the key elements is I have an alibi. I was with my kids. And I tried to save my husband using life-saving measures, which we know she never did. Until finally just dropped to my knees praying this wasn't happening. At that point, the head EMT walked in to tell me he didn't make it. We did all we could do. I lost it. I immediately ran to the bathroom and began throwing up. During all of this, my kids had woken up and I quickly yelled for them to stay in their room. They knew something was up. So here she knows she's a psychic and she knows exactly what her kids saw and knew. They knew something was up. They saw the ambulances and cop cars for what had seemed hours at this point. I could feel their fear through the walls, but yet didn't have the courage, because we know she's a coward, to dare, like most killers, and psychopaths, courage to dare see them or talk to them at this point. I was curled up around the toilet when my mom walked in with the EMT lady. Okay, let's see how accurate that is. And we'll see, not very accurate at all, but let's watch.
I don't know. I want to go.
Okay. Is there any family members we can call right now?
Yeah, I need to go. I need to go. My mom so bad.
Okay.
I think I don't know. I want to on the phone. I don't know.
Here. Okay.
I call my mom.
Yep. I'll give you a phone right now, okay?
I need to call his dad. He's gonna be okay, right? Like I got in bed and then I just got.
Yeah, they're doing their best, okay, ma'am? Here, you can use my phone.
Oh, they're doing their best. I mean, he'd been dead a long time at this point. Just know that the EMT's response was like, this guy's been dead a long time. This didn't just recently happen. The fact that this lead detective woman thought this might be a murder and didn't do more is shameful. At first, I thought this was like a really good investigation. It was a half of it when Detective O'Driscoll took over. He did a good job, but you can't go back and get evidence that you didn't get at the time. That's the problem. This whole thing, obviously I'm Monday morning quarterbacking. I don't know the stresses of being a detective. It's just sad. If she gets off on any of these charges, it will be because of what they didn't get at the scene, I would think.
Mom. 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 Go to my house. Go to my house.
Now, could you please come over? What a spoiled brat, huh? Come to my house, Mom. Come to my house. It's an emergency. I can't talk right now. If you really cared about your husband, you'd be like, can't talk now. I'll tell you what's happening when you get here. Get over here now, Please. I really need your help. I really need your support. My husband may need your support. Oh, yeah. She's really hateable, isn't she?
I don't know. Something Eric, the police, girls are here. Like, I don't know what's happening. He wasn't breathing. I don't know. Who? Eric.
You know how I feel? Look at this officer at the left. Just watch him. Don't watch Kouri because there's not much to see with their hands over her face. Just watch this detective's face. He can't believe what he's seeing here. Watch this.
Girls are here. Like, I don't know what's happening. He wasn't breathing. I don't know. Eric.
He's like, what am I listening to here? What am I listening to here? He's like, what is going on? What am I listening to here? Usually, if you're worried about a person, your eyes are on them. Obviously, he doesn't want to stare her down, but he's like, what are we looking? He's looking at the other cops like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are you hearing that we're getting peak whining here?
Where is he at? I'm on my way.
I think my partner found your phone. Is this it right here? Does he have any medical conditions or anything like that?
He has Lyme's disease.
Lyme's disease?
Nothing major. Like,
Okay. So no heart problems or anything like that?
no, he just said his chest was hurting when he went to bed, but not. He doesn't drink enough water, when he gets on the bike.
Marianne Nizzo for the win there. There's no back-to-back call. I was calling my mom frantically. Meanwhile, cut to, you can make a great video just splicing in the letter to what actually happened. Would that be a fun video? I mean, law. This is ridiculous. There's no back-to-back call. Her mom's like, what? This is 3:30 in the morning. So we figured out together that this is like the evidence, like 9 minutes into the evidence, not the timestamp.
I don't know. It didn't. And then he just said he was really tired because he got his allergy shots yesterday morning.
Yeah. Oh, now she's going with those allergy shots. And when her mother arrives, her mother's really trying to sell that this may be the first fatal reaction to allergy shots that someone gets regularly every month with his child. So he may have had a bad reaction to taking the kid to the dentist yesterday. Maybe the dentist's office, he just had some reaction to the dental office. And now he's going to have some reaction to these allergy shots. Anyway, watch for Lisa Darden when Kouri Richins' mother, when she comes in. She's really going to try to sell these allergy shots as something really significant to the officers at the scene.
Okay.
With my son, they so much better.
And then when did you discover him? What time?
I got my phone. Maybe 3.
About 3. Did you immediately call the 911?
Yeah, well, I got up and as soon as I turned over and he was cold,
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like something was wrong. So, I just put the blanket on it because I just thought it was rehearsal. So I just, and then I sat there for a minute.
Want to thank Susan Hicks, Rachel Harper, M. Evans for their very generous Venmo donations. Great way to support the channel. Link is in the description. You could also buy me a coffee or become a Patreon member and get access to content you won't get anywhere else. New Patreon episode, I believe, is coming up pretty soon. Hopefully I'll get that out soon.
I just didn't feel like it's like freaking or anything, and so I just, oh my God.
Okay. And he just felt so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Any COVID or
So here she's mentioning the heaviness of his body, but not the coldness of his body.
or anything like that?
We all just got over COVID.
Okay. And when was that?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay, so not recently.
Well, he just like had a negative test. So I was the last positive, and then he had it. So his last negative test was a week ago.
Okay. Hey, ma'am, what's your name? I'm sorry, what was that?
Kouri.
With the C?
Kouri.
So, I mean, this is not where you would expect the whining to come in. I mean, just saying her name shouldn't really bring up any emotion. This is usually where we see people are being asked questions, calm down. Your name, your address, things like that shouldn't be bringing up mega emotions. But because it's all put on, she doesn't know she's going to whine through everything. Okay, so Kouri Richins, I mean, unlikely she gave it to him in this Moscow Mule. How she got it in his system, we'll never know. I thought the most fascinating part of yesterday's testimony was Detective O'Driscoll's cross, where it was very clear that Kouri Richins' attorney, Kathy Nestor, felt more like a closing argument than a question. It really felt clear that Kathy Nestor was telling the jury, pay attention to my questions. The answers aren't important. Pay attention to the questions. And the questions were more like a statement of fact. You know, you can do leading questions during cross. It's a real difference between cross and direct. No leading questions on direct, but you can ask all the leading questions you want on cross. So she says, there's no murder weapon found. Well, there was a lot of fentanyl, and I thought Detective O'Driscoll had great answers to these questions, which were more like an argument hidden in the form of leading questions. You didn't find any drugs in the home. Well, there was a whole bunch of drugs in his stomach. No, we didn't find any leftover fentanyl. We know Kouri Richins was buying fentanyl, these same kind of pills. She may have thought they were oxycodone. They turned out to be illicit fentanyl pills disguised, made to look like oxycodone pills. Just been a real, I think, kind of like a detail that the defense has, both the defense and at times the judge have tried to use, saying, well, it's an illicit drug and oxycodone is a prescription drug. But I mean, the point of this is a like a drug fraud we're looking at here, right? So the pills are disguised. Any kind of fraud is making something look like something it's not, right? So they're making the pills look like 30 milligram roxycodone, or really it's essentially oxycodone. It's 30 milligram immediate release oxycodone pills. But in reality, they're whatever milligram, whatever milligram fentanyl pills made in a pill machine to look like oxycodone pills. But Kouri Richins was just looking for any kind of opiate. What she could get was fentanyl. I don't think she was looking for fentanyl. She's just looking for a strong opiate, something that would kill him. It's not necessarily poison that would look suspicious, like he was permanently poisoned. Something that she could say that he took or had an issue with, a little bit like her mother's girlfriend's lover's overdose in 2006 from opiate overdose, of which Kouri Richins' mother financially benefited from that death. Emmy, thank you so much. Yes, I am soaking my foot in Epsom salts. I have a giant bag of it. I find it very boring to do, but I am doing it. Maybe I have a big bowl, big metal bowl, and some Epsom salts, and I am soaking my fractured ankle. Monday, hopefully not during closing arguments, but I hope it's when the jury's out. I have to go see a orthopedic specialist about it. I never went through this rite of passage. I think I've twisted my ankle. I've never broken. First bone I ever broke was during COVID. I broke my finger, and I wasn't going to go. I just dealt with it myself. And so this is like the first foot injury I've ever had. I never went through that rite of passage before, and it's a bummer, let me tell you. If you didn't see Tammy, Marie sent me this picture. So I said the judge was very soothing in this, and I wanted him to bring me chicken soup. She sent me this picture of a very glamorous me being brought chicken soup, my ugly boot and brace on my foot. It's fractured. It's a fibular fracture, I think they told me. It's like the side of the ankle. I think that's what it is. It's like it. Yeah. So there you go. Whoop. Here we are. Back to this. The boring, mundane details. Thank you guys for being caring.
We gummies. Sometimes when he goes to go gummies before he goes to bed.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't seem like you did though.
It's like a gummy, as in like a THC gummy. Okay.
No THC was found in the system, which means he hadn't taken any gummies in a month. Why is she lying about that?
And who's his primary care physician? Who?
Herb Lepley.
How do you spell it? How's
Lepley.
Lepley? When was he last seen? When was that?
Family members are coming and they're going to suspect me of murdering him. Oh no, I better put on some heavy whining. They're coming. Practice my whining.
There's 2 kids that are awake. They're in that door. She said to the left. Yeah, I think the master bedroom. Or the master bedroom. So basically, she said went to bed at 9:30. She slept with the kids because then she goes to bed. When she went to bed, around 3 o'clock, moved in her bed. He was cold and heavy. He has Lyme disease. He got an allergy shot yesterday. He might have taken a gummy, THC gummy last night. So, other than that, just Lyme disease.
I already have dispensable Dicks.
It's probably gonna be bigger here.
I don't know. Whatever they don't call this.
Yeah, it's like he's up there stairs, like he.
You can hear just one officer, the skepticism in his voice, I think, but maybe that's my own bias. She says she went to sleep, but I don't know. I mean, I just hear a big question mark after everything he says. She made a big point to say that she wasn't around him when he died. I mean, it's so clear that the number one thing, her concern is that her alibi be established and not help for her husband, who was clearly dead long before they arrived. So I think Tater just put that up. Do I still have that comment up that Tater made? No. Hold on, Tater. Let me get to your. She says it takes like 4 hours for rigor mortis to set in. Where is it? It's fractured? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my ankle. Back to my ankle. Away from my ankle. Let's go to this overdose. I just looked it up. A rigor mortis sets in 2 and 6 hours. So if she says she killed him or he took that drink at 9, that could be by 3 a.m. he would be very dead. It could have set in at 3 a.m. It could have been done earlier. It could have been at 9 o'clock in some other kind of way. But I think my view in this case is that Kouri Richins heard some news story about fentanyl being found in illicit gummies and just hoped and prayed they'd find illicit fentanyl in the gummies in the home. But they sure didn't. Defense tested them, so did the prosecution. So no luck on that, Kouri Richins. And then they went with another defense, which is that Eric Richins had some kind of secret problem, which is hard to do when you don't have any of the drugs in your system. And just chose that night to start using. I see where she was going with that. Well, sometimes I'm slow. So the whole reason she said that he was mad and frustrated about getting his horns from he was an exotic hunter, getting his horns back from someone in Mexico. I don't know, horns of what animal, I don't know. Is that she's saying that she's trying to establish that he had an issue and that this is what I think, where I think she was going with this. He had an issue with pills. He had been clean a while, but that this issue with his getting his horns back was so frustrating and upsetting, and that he couldn't get over it. He was going on and on about it, remember? That caused him to seek emotional relief in these pills. Caused him to have a relapse. The problem is no one but Kouri Richins and her family comes off, and by her family, I mean her brother Ronnie and her mother, Lisa Darden, come off like accessories in this crime. They're not charged with anything. Under the eyes of the law, they're certainly innocent. But my view, they raise a lot of red flags with me. They're the only ones that say that he had this issue with drugs. So that's what I think the point of that narrative is.
Okay, 30. What's my case number? Copy. Yeah, firm. And the complaint's going to be of the wife, first name of Kouri.
You just lost the sound.
Scott, pause there for a minute. Thank you, sir. Scott, don't change me. See if I can fix this from.
All the blood.
Time for the show.
Yeah. I don't know if he had an aneurysm or something with all the blood. That's, I don't, there's a lot of blood for some unknown reason.
Were you first on thing?
We were second. The fire guy was here before us.
And there was blood before they get.
A little bit coming out as soon as we start doing compressions with the Lucas. It's when the blood came out. So,
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
No pulse or anything?
No, he was cold. I think he's been down a while. Not a long time, but he's been down a minute. He was asystole the whole time. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Pretty young.
Yeah.
So if you're just tuning in, we're wrapping up some of the highlights of the Kouri Richins trial. Both the defense and the prosecution have rested their case. There is a charge conference at 3 p.m. Eastern time that we will be screening. I think I'm gonna go for another 20 minutes or whenever I can get to the end of this body cam and call it a day. Not call it a day, call it a morning, I guess. We've been going since 9:30 this morning.
maybe took some gummies.
Yeah, that's what she was
That's what
saying.
she said. And then the hydrocodone. I think there was hydrocodone or something.
It was
96 or something.
2016.
2016, yeah. Pretty old.
Did you take that?
We don't know. It was sitting there though.
It's in the drawer right there.
There's something.
It
What
is.
is this right here? Is that it? Are you taking for Lyme disease?
Yeah. Started to look that up. So it's filled in 2016.
Yeah, that one.
It's under his name. I think he sleeps on that side of that though.
What's that?
Uh-huh.
That might be hers. Is it in
It's
his
his.
name? Oh, it's his.
The hydrocodone bottle, is that the hydrocodone bottle from 2000, his knee surgery, Eric Richins' knee surgery in 2016? But it's empty, right? There's nothing in it. Oh, there was nothing in it. I thought they found the pills in a different part of the house. Am I wrong on that?
Okay. But it's empty, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we gave him more can. That would have been good. You know, so she has one in there.
And then you arrived and he was already on the floor. Right?
Yeah, she had pulled him down to the floor.
She had pulled him down on the floor to not do CPR.
Kouri? I'm gonna need to ask you some questions real quick, okay? Has he ever been in the military?
No,
No. Does he use tobacco?
no.
No. And what does he do for a living?
He owns a stone mason company.
And then when you discovered him, was he on the bed? Yes.
He's just laying on his side like normal.
Okay.
I just thought he was cold. It was cold in there, so I put the blanket on him.
Yeah.
But his body just felt like heavy, and
And which way was he facing? Was he facing towards?
She just thought he was cold. She just thought his stiff, not snoring. I mean, so many things were out of the ordinary, according to Kouri Richins herself. She mentions his snoring as a way to disparage him, as murderers like to disparage their victims and re-victimize them. So he's snoring, not snoring, cold. So he's not snoring, cold to the touch, and heavy. But she just thought he was cold and thought he needed an extra blanket. His not snoring. I mean, all these things should be big red flags for even a rookie officer.
no, he was just up, just facing up.
Oh, so he's laying on his back.
Facing on his
Okay.
back.
And then did you pull him to the ground?
Yeah, that's what the lady on the phone told me to do, was to take the sheet.
You mean the 911 officer, Kouri Richins? That's what the lady on the phone told me to do. Her use of language is really juvenile.
And pull the sheet
Okay.
to the ground so I could do CPR.
Okay. What's his highest level of education?
It's a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
My husband's active. He didn't just die in his sleep. This is insane.
Wow. Do you feel that? Like, I feel that pregnant pause there. This is my husband. He is active. So she's using the present tense. Very good. Very convincing there, Kouri. Usually people can't accept that their loved one is dead, so they tend to use the present tense. But then she ruins it all by going, this is insane. It's not right? It's not, that's not the right word to use. Insane is like outrage. I mean, I get that. It's unexpected. insane is not something you use for something horrific and traumatizing. Insane is more a word you use for something unbelievable and slightly ridiculous.
Any mental health conditions? No. Okay. How about any suicidal history? No.
Never.
Okay.
No.
Has he been seen by a doctor in the last 30 days?
No.
Okay.
Wait, what happened to those allergy shots? Didn't he just see a doctor that day or the day before? I mean, we're now into like the morning of. It's always so tricky with these murder cases when the police come in the wee small hours of the morning. So we're at like 3:30 in the morning here, 3:40, maybe around that time, maybe a little later. We know she called 911 at 3:20, according to her, unreliable narrator that Kouri Richins is. But didn't he? Her mom is about to make a huge deal that on March 3rd, this is the wee small hours of March 4th, 2022. On March 3rd, Eric Richins took his son so they both could get allergy shots together. He just saw a doctor. What are you talking about? But I guess they say, don't they say when they arrive, oh, you didn't see a doctor? Then who's giving him these allergy shots? A nurse practitioner? Someone else?
Has any prescriptions been filled in the last 30 days? No. Has he had a history of falling or anything? No. Any history of prescription abuse? No.
I mean, when he was in high school and stuff, yeah.
There's the problem. This is going to be, I forgot about this. Here's a big problem for the defense. So this became the whole defense, but here's Kouri Richins contradicting her entire defense on body cam. Did he have a problem with drugs? No. Well, in high school. In high school, his friend Cody Wright said, no, on the stand, no, but in a preliminary hearing, yes, he had heard he used pain pills in high school. Used, does that mean did he use them by prescription or did he use them illicitly? Defense weren't allowed to ask questions about that. And then also in the preliminary hearing, Cody Wright talked about Eric Richins using Red Devils, which we all were quite amused to find out were pseudoephedrine, like the good Sudafed, that at least in New York City, you have to show your ID and sign for, and can only buy a certain amount of it so that they can be sure that you're not buying large quantities to make, that people make methamphetamine with it. But in its form that you buy it in, it's certainly not a mind-altering. You don't get much of a kick from Sudafed. Your heart might start moving a little faster. That's it. But to call it Red Devils was so amusing.
Okay.
To have Sudafed have a street name was hilarious.
Or maybe a reaction to his shots yesterday.
He just said he didn't feel good from them. Like,
He didn't look good last night.
he looked pale last night, and I asked if you were okay, and he said, yeah, but he was saying his chest was hurting, but
Does he have any history of illicit drug use?
There's a difference. You would think that would be a significant detail. She said his chest was hurting, not mentioned in her diary rendition of what happened. her narrative and her I don't know. You could call it her notebook. You can call it her diary. I don't know. It's kind of like a notebook. Really comes across more like an alibi letter.
Is there anything in the password?
No, never.
Okay. Do you have the phone number to Herb, his doctor? I can't.
I don't know yet, right? We'll see what you get.
I don't. It's just at the Park City Family Clinic and Hospital. Or
Okay, I can look it up.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Oh, so I'm like, what are we looking at here? We're looking at a form. I'm like, those are some of the neatest, most organized notes, but it's really a form he's filling out here.
Who told the boys? Claire said a cop told them. Why did you tell the child?
Well, they should have told him I answered.
Oh.
They all know. They told me.
How do they know?
Carter told me, a cop told me.
What they told him?
No, I wouldn't be.
We were in there, so we were maybe a fire
Do they
department.
know?
Maybe get together.
Oh my freaking.
Tom, that's too funny. So we found out from Kouri Richins, she had to write a autobiography, the story of her life, I guess is a better way to put it, in her graduate class. And she writes about her mom being a compulsive gambler, which Kouri Richins certainly seemed to have the same compulsive gambling thing with her house flipping. And we found out from this trial that she was $7.5 million in debt. I mean, I think I was surprised, and I would be surprised if the defense doesn't make the point that Eric Richins' murder wouldn't have gotten Kouri Richins totally out of debt. I'll be shocked if they don't make that argument in closing on Monday. Monday, I believe we have closing arguments in this case.
God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh. Oh my God.
God, that number just kept ringing this morning, and I'm like,
Yeah, because we couldn't find her phone.
I thought somebody called from his.
Oh, so she said, so was she calling her? Oh, so there we go. Who said, no frequent calls? It was calling from the police phone before her mother picked up.
Cell phone, and then when you Google it, it says it's a spoof number. I'm gonna go up here to these people.
Mom, is the door closed, my room?
Yeah.
Yes, we.
Is he still here?
So I'll explain to you what the process is right now. Because he was in good health and at his age and everything like that. Okay, our medical examiner is going to come and do their investigation real quick, and then also our detective, just to make sure that everything's documented, correctly, and then.
Unfortunately, everything wasn't documented correctly. A lot of times, these killers are one step, two steps ahead of the police. And by the time the police catch on to what they did, they've gotten rid of a lot of the evidence, or the evidence just isn't collected. But here you can hear the skepticism of the police. They're trying to make this look routine and normal just because your husband's young, but clearly blind person can see that and hear that the police are not buying what Kouri's selling. That's how I take it, but I'm biased. I see her as very guilty. I find this whole tape very damning. It was a jaw dropper. It's no coincidence that the prosecution presented this on day one They said, this is some of our strongest evidence against Kouri Richins. It's the body cam footage. Check it out, jury. I want you to remember this. I want to show you this when you're wide awake, paying attention to every detail. Don't forget this. It's odd, though, the presentation of the witnesses in this case haven't always been logical to my mind. I'd love to talk to Prosecutor Bloodworth about why he presented it. Was it scheduling? Was there another reason why the evidence was presented in the manner it was in this case? Sometimes they'll put all the really boring evidence, or hard to get through evidence, like medical examiner up front. Sometimes they'll have the victim's family, like they did in this case, up front. But this was day one. We're going through day one of Kouri Richins' trial. This body cam is so damning. Footage so damning. You couldn't miss it.
From there, they'll explain to you what's going to happen. Most likely, what I'm thinking, because he has no serious health problems or anything like that. His age, most likely they're going to take his body to the medical examiner's office just to make sure that there wasn't anything else.
So that's like a real first view of Kouri Richins' face here. Does she look like she's been crying? Hard to tell what's makeup, what's real, but certainly her eyes don't look puffy in this black and white grainy rendition of the body cam footage. Doesn't look like a puffy face that's been crying a lot.
Oh my God. Medical examiner's office just to make sure that, there wasn't anything else.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any questions for me right now?
No. He had allergy shots yesterday.
Yeah, and that's what she was saying.
Last night when I was here.
What kind of allergy shots?
I think it's weekly shots.
Him and his boy get weekly shots.
So they're both just feeling
Like seasonal allergies?
Yeah.
Okay. And where was that at?
Park City.
Park City.
Family Medical?
No. Jeremy Ranch, Granger Medical.
Granger? Okay.
Oh my God.
I did. They're all watching TV. I said, you guys got to go back to sleep. It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Look at, I didn't catch this the first time. I guess Kouri Richins was asking about her kids. Is that what she said? Hold on. Inaudible, something about my kids. I've got to go talk to my kids. And Lisa Darden, Kouri Richins' mother, says to her, oh, I talked to them. They're all watching TV. Watch. And then when Eric Richins' sister, Katie Benson, comes in, she immediately runs to the kids and like, we got to get them out of here. But look at scary Lisa Darden. She frightens me. It's like, yeah, they're watching their father of 3 young boys just died in their home, and his corpse is still in the home. But they're watching TV, they're fine. Don't need to comfort them. Immediately when you see Katie come in, where are they? Let's get them out. What a difference. What a crazy, crazy contrast.
I did. They're all watching TV. I said, you guys got to go back to sleep. It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Cam?
Yeah. Need to go up there and sell it to work to get the van keys.
Okay.
So, is this here with you?
Yep.
Okay, so here's Katie Richins. There you can hear the real horror, the real horror, the real trauma. Katie Richins, where are the boys? Where are the boys? Let's get the kids. That's real. It's no wonder that how and why the Richins family, meaning Eric Richins' family, got the custody of the 3 boys and not Lisa Darden, Kouri Richins' mother.
We don't know. We went to bed. Clint, here, he's gonna help. Where are my boys?
The kids are in the
Where's my brother?
He's in this
No. Baby.
Corey?
You can't see him. Now Corey's putting rank. You can't see him. There's some shame over what she did. Or she doesn't want Katie Richins, Richins Benson, really is full name, to get too close. But here you can see the real trauma. And now Kouri Richins changes her acting a little bit and is mirroring Katie Benson's real traumatic reaction. The reason you have that, women have that kind of almost whiny, high-pitched sound when they're really stressed and traumatized, is because everything's tensing up in their body, including their vocal cords. There's not, and their breath is so uneven. They're not getting a lot of breath to support their voice. But Kouri Richins has breath for days. So it comes off as just straight whining with her. You can feel the difference in your bone between, I mean, you hear it, like you just want to run and help Katie Benson the minute you hear her say, "Where are the boys? Where are the boys?" It's real trauma, real fear, real panic, real sadness, real grief. And the great pretender, Kouri Richins, is going to try to imitate it. Take a look.
You could relocate your boys upstairs.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I'll tell her now. What? Wait, okay. Come on. Come on. Bob, come on. Come on, Bob.
I can explain to her if you want to go.
I miss everything. Chris, Will, everything. I miss Perfect Attorney. I miss everything.
You don't have
Go
to worry
upstairs.
about that kind of stuff right now.
With the boys. Upstairs with the boys.
Poor kids taken in and out of the house. You can see how young they are in their pajamas. I mean, these are Kouri Richins' other victims, her children, who she's now sentenced to a life sentence of grief, thanks to her murder of their father, Eric Richins.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all natural, okay? Just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
This makes me angry watching this. How about everybody else? Makes me angry at Kouri Richins. So this is something the defense owned. I mean, I'm sure they felt like they owned Katie Benson on, is that she didn't remember hugging Kouri Richins. But look how close Kouri Richins is trying to get to Katie. And look at the way Katie is like, get off me, kind of like pulling back. Of course, she didn't remember this. But Kouri Richins never had to be told to breathe. Not that I remember. She didn't have any problem supporting her voice with breath. Something we talked about at length when we were talking about Dan Markel's murder and Wendy Adelson's police interview, where she trying to do it, put it on, but you can't do that for hours and hours and hours. So 1 minute Wendy Adelson would be talking with this kind of voice, trying to imitate the gasping for breath. And then the next minute she'd be talking full volume, full voice, totally supported. Kouri Richins, a little bit of a different performance. It's like in a full whine. It doesn't even go to the shaky breath.
He just woke up and he wasn't breathing. I went to bed. I went back to bed because I'm a nightmare. So I went back in our room and I was breathing. And I just turned over to cuddle him, and his body was just so cold. He's gone wild.
So the only information I know.
A little bit different than her letter. She does in her diary. She doesn't say she went to cuddle him. Here she says she went to cuddle him. There she just said she went back to my bed, not our bed, my bed. Very telling.
From what the medical staff that was here is, he was cold to the touch, okay, and it seemed like he was down for a while. So
He was fine at 9:30.
It's fine at 9:30. Is this Kouri Richins playing with the time or not?
I mean, that's when I went to the bedroom with Ashton. I mean, so unless he went, like, I didn't hear anything. I didn't even yell. He didn't say anything was wrong. Nothing happened. Like, nothing happened. Oh my God, this is not real. Nothing happened.
Another very deceptive thing when people tell you things in the negative, they're telling you what didn't happen when you're asking them what did happen. This is not real. Nothing happened. Like, I didn't hear anything. She's telling you what she didn't hear, what didn't happen. All very red flags.
Like, I didn't hear anything.
So when you ask someone how their day was, they don't say, I didn't play tennis. I didn't go to the park. They don't tell you all the things you didn't do. Didn't ice skate. I didn't see this friend. They tell you what they did do. Here she's all telling the police and Katie what didn't happen.
Right across the room, like, if he was in pain, why didn't he yell? It sounds like he wasn't. I know, but why? I mean, I'm such a light sleeper. I could have heard anything. I just could have heard anything if he just said Kouri. Like, I would have.
So now the coldness comes in, and she put a blanket. First, this coldness was not even a thing that worried her. She just put an extra blanket on him. It was the heaviness, according to her diary, that alerted her. A lot of differences, some subtle like that, some more prevalent. Like, she never went to the toilet and threw up. We haven't seen her at the toilet throwing up when her mother came in. We haven't seen her drop to her knees except to hug Katie Richins, who dropped to her knees. I mean, so much of this story is borrowed from Katie Richins. Something lost my brother. All right, this is as much as I can take. We're going to be going over this weekend, going over the highlights. Whoop, let me put myself in here. Whoop, there I am. I'll be back in about an hour and 45 minutes for the Charge conference. Catch me then. Please support the channel. Links are in the description of this and every episode. Venmo, Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon. Share, like, subscribe, all the good things. I will be back at 3 p.m. Thanks so much for watching with me. Hey, absent-minded Jay, how's it going? Hi, Audrey. Hi, Allie. Nice to see Ange. Everybody, thanks for watching with me. I'll see you guys back here, maybe a little before 3, maybe like 5 minutes, maybe 2:55 that time, 3 o'clock Eastern. See you then.
Mic check, Roberta strides through the static haze. True crime Gotham where the shadows play their plays. Fraudsters fold when a spotlight beams. Fact focused queen busting propaganda schemes. Glass shatter lies echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Pulse, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light. Hard cash warrior, dissecting state and defense. Twisted innocence, claims breaking pretense. Gotham's truth seeker cuts clean with the blade. Facts in the forefront, no justice gets swayed. Cold facts drip heavy, real talk unfurls. Cracking cases open like oysters with pearls. Innocence gimmicks crumble to dust in the wind. For victims, her creed, justice till the end. Headphones blazing, she drops heavy artillery. Narratives twisted, meet blunt object civility. Roberta got receipts that unravel the ploy. Exposing the lies these fraudsters deploy. Glass shatters lies, echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Pulse, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light.